Good evening, chat. Hello. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, no Karen Reed today. Karen Reed apparently was sick. I mean, life happens, guys. Um, it like people get sick. It just happens all the time. Um, she's also got MS, so I mean, she could get sick on top of that. Um, Shit happens. Shit happens there. So Karen Reed's sick of some sort. I mean, that's what we understand. Real life happens, though, guys. I mean, we're on day 14, week 3 of a trial. I mean, that's rough on people. It grinds you down. Your immune system gets shot. And also just the odds of people getting sick in a trial is very, it happens. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. You know, nothing you can do about it. And if she's sick, obviously having her there, well, that's not going to help anybody. So, yeah, we'll be back at trial tomorrow. We'll start at the same time, 6, and cover it from there. But since we didn't have trial tonight, had to go take care of things, had to do a grocery run. That took longer than anticipated to pick everything up. I had to wait a minute at Giant Eagle, so that's why we started at 8, not 7:30. My apologies. Oh, somebody just burped. And obviously Clyde's here today. I was going to hold him and see if I could ignore him for a minute. Guys, this is not my birthday. Yeah, sorry, day 15. Sorry. My apologies. Yes, you're right. It's day 15. So, and also, why does YouTube, why do you fuck me like this, man? Whatever. YouTube is so ridiculous at times. It does not save what you do does not save things that you do properly. But yes, day 15, we will be starting tomorrow and continue onward. We still don't know who's left to testify. There's an interesting list that's been put out there that kind of lists out everybody who's on the witness list. And I know, guys, we're talking about Destiny, but we're going to get to that in a second. But I do think it's important to get all our Karen Reed stuff caught up. Giant Eagle's a grocery store, guys. Whatever. You know what I mean. So, anyways, I gotta said I'm going to the dildo factory. There. How about that? So this is a thing I've seen out here as it's a combined witness list. It's a combined witness list of everybody that's on there. They only have it's broken down into defense only, Commonwealth only, and then people that are on both. So they also break it down by who's law enforcement, who's fire department, who's the crime lab, who's from the O'Keefe family, who are TV members, who are Good Samaritans to the medical examiners, and who are experts. So it's a whole list of people here. Some of this is a little older because obviously Rentschler and Wolf are coming in as far as people are concerned. Yes, denied expert is Easter, although Easter is their police expert. And I think that's going to have to change now. We went through Yuri Buchanan and the absolute disaster of his examinations. You also have Turtle Boy on here. He's not going to be called. Remember, Turtle Boy pled the 5th. So they're not calling him, period. So that is where we are with this. If you guys want to see it, you guys can go find her name here is Dee Dee Suspicious Sauce. She's got the link. She's got the list all set up. So we'll see. Well, that's a great place to go from there. Yeah, the defense cop expert got dollbirted by Bev. Yes. But I think now, given what's happened, I mean, she should be letting him in. But once again, Judge Bev's an idiot. Judge Bev is a moron. She sucks. And, yeah. Spuggun says, I thought Turtle Boy is just a YouTuber. No, Turtle Boy actually does, he does the journalism. He's actually a journalist. He's been investigating and doing stuff in the Boston area for a very, very long time. So, no, Turtle Boy is actually pretty good. Broken many a story open on corruption in the Massachusetts area, which, if you aren't aware, and I'm assuming you're not aware, there's a ton of it. The Departed is not just a, it's not a documentary necessarily, but the Boston area in particular has an awful amount of corruption running through it forever. Yes, Turtle Boy did get 2 additional new charges today. So the Commonwealth's pussy is, that runs over its pussy runneth over with sloppiness and menstruation. So they charged him with more cases today. Felonies for more witness intimidation. Yes, because he's already faced other felony witness intimidation charges. They charge him with some more bullshit ones. So because remember, they couldn't beat him in court, they couldn't get him to shut up, they couldn't revoke his bond. So then they turned around and charged him with more. Because the Commonwealth is a bunch of bitch-made little bitches. So that's how that goes. That's the update for Karen Reed for now. I'm waiting to get a hold of the Turtle Boy docs to see everything out there. I don't really know a whole lot. So we'll take a look at those when they come out. But there is more. Was his bond revoked today? No, I don't think so. I'm not aware of it. I mean, I don't know, though. I mean, guys, the past 2 weeks have been extremely busy. This week's no better. So I don't know. I don't know for sure. I really don't know. Let's see here. The First Circuit did tell Judge Bev that their order for the buffer zone is bullshit and it needs to be messed with. And some other things like that. Oh, this will be. Hold on here. Well, thank you for that. Rikers Island's under a federal court order now. That's impressive. The federal courts have seized control over that and are administering it now. With that said, though, these were the indictments he was charged 2 months ago. Oh, well, then what's the deal? But yes, Bev has 48 hours to fix the buffer zone. So, what happened to Job Well Done? Streams are your happy place. Life is hell. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Not nice. No barks. Streams are my happy place. Life is hell. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear you're going through a rough patch. If you are, my thoughts go out to you. I mean, whatever it is, though, you will get through it. I hate to say that because I've been in some real shitty spots in life before, and the last thing you want to hear is, "Oh, it gets better." It's like, okay, it might get better, but right now it's fucking awful. So I'm not going to tell you it is what it is, but you will get through it. You will get through it. So I'm glad that I can offer that. I'm glad I can offer that for you. Yes, Andrew Baldwin from Richard Allen's case won a murder trial in front of Judge Gull. Apparently, it's a real shitty one too. I'm surprised she let that happen, considering she's such a cunt of a human being. So, but yes, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Apparently, you can get a fair trial in front of her. I'm surprised she didn't try to overturn the verdict. Did I see the guy who got tuned up? But no, I don't know shit about shit that happened today. If somebody ran through the buffer zone fucking people, and guys, I don't know anything that happened. Like, I know basic things. I don't know what. No, I have no idea. No, I have no idea what happened. You got to fill me in. I know you're not suicidal, but no, I'm just saying, man. Like, it never sucks. Like, being in a shitty spot sucks. When nothing's going right, life sucks. And I'm not. I wasn't worried you were sitting there staring at your pistol, like maybe today, friend. But it still sucks to go through a shit patch. That's all I'm saying. But I'm glad I can do something to help for you. Life sucks. Have you tried whippets? When you're stressing, your life is here. This thing called cocaine can take your ability to handle stress up to here. If Sean told me it's better, I assume he's calling me gay. Whippets didn't. Well, I mean, it seemed like they did. Oh, let's see. I know basic things like sandwich construction, yes. Spuggun saying no, he didn't. Lackluster covered it. I don't know who we're talking about. Oh, Runkle's going to his pretend Supreme Court, yes. And I wish Runkle the best of luck. Good luck, Runkle. Sadly, you're gonna, with your Supreme Court, you're probably gonna need it. I, wish you the best. Hope you can strike a blow for liberty and freedom loving people in Canada. I really do. I really hope he can do it. So I'm ready for it. Let's see real quick if we can anything else here. Okay, this is funny, Mother Oats. Nobody can walk through the buffer zone, but every law enforcement siren gets a 500% volume increase around as soon as they pass the courthouse. Yes. If the windows are open, they get the woo even louder. They get the wee woo louder. Oh. Yes. So let me see here. That's really it for there, guys. I got a couple of. Did I just say windows? I said windows. All right, real quick. Schnauzer Patrol says the refugees from South Africa kind of came out of nowhere. Refugees tend to do that. No, but apparently we're importing Afrikaners right now, and everybody's all upset because, well, now we're finding out it's not about really helping people in shitty situations. It's only about importing minorities. But, not these Africans, other Africans. It's very interesting to see that. Especially all the pro-immigration attorneys are like, that's not what you wanted. Oh, really? Shocker. Sleazy says, happy birthday. Guys, not my birthday. When you guys do this, people don't know, and then I'm worried people are going to start sending shit. And then it's going to be embarrassing. So, it's not my birthday till August. Peter Watkins says, just picked up a new gun today. Oh, well, congrats. Hope you enjoy it. What kind? If you don't mind asking. And then Erica Thorpe says, oh my God, happy birthday, Sean. Happy birthday to Clyde as well. Thank you for the super chat. And then Stephen Cooper for 20 subs. Let's go, chat. It's a good night tonight. Everybody got the day off. Well, not everybody. We all had to work. But Karen Reed and team got the day off. Let's let them get to it. An extra day to get ready to kick Buchanan's ass. An extra day for Hank the Coward Fear. Here we go. Tighten up, chat, like Karen's butthole after this. Tighten up. Let's be ready. Let's be ready. Welcome to the sub club. Got a Walter PDP. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Am I a Virgo or a Libra? No, I'm a Leo. I'm born in August. People are being dumbasses here. That's why. But yes, I am a Leo. I love spider eggs for my birthday. No. Have you seen the CQB bullpup on Kentucky Ballistics? No, I've not yet. But I know they make really short. I've seen some very short Barretts before. Why must I be so vulgar in my metaphors? Well, it helps you understand what's going on. Visualization's critical with a metaphor. Tighten up like a dolphin's butt. Watertight. There. Is that better? Meme copium. Well, there's Louis Tail. You can see Louis. What are they? Clyde is like running in between Louis's feet, and Louis is trying to chase Clyde. Meme copium. Josh, great friend of the show. Meme copium. Had a good stream today, Josh. Saw that. Saw bits and pieces of it. Says, what a nice free day to enjoy your hobbies and spend time with the fam. I know. I mean, get outside, enjoy the weather. Yeah. It's a heck of a nice day. Hope you're doing well, Josh. Bob says I exclusively use the USFA Zip 22. Yeah, that's rough. You're a brave man. You're born in August and you're a Virgo. I didn't know Virgos were in August. Leos are gay. You should have waited till September. Well, not. My mom popped me out when she popped me out. They didn't really have control over stuff in 1985. 1985, it's like, oh, well, he's popping out. So here we go. My facial hair gives it away. Okay. Don't know. I don't do the tarot stuff. Give me your time and place of birth so I can read your birth chart. It was like 8:30 something at night and in Ohio. There. Yeah, there's also the link 6, yes. Leos are gay. Yes, of course it is. Oh, yeah, the bullpup links. Oh, the one where the barrel out. Yeah, well, Grantham's already talked about those. It's been out for a little while. So, Meme doesn't allow end towers and shit. That's because he's Meme, guys. You gotta leave him alone. Costi gifting 20 subs. Costi, thank you for your support. Help me make America green again. You guys, are you guys gonna start humping now? Clyde's like, but I'm a boy dog. Get away from me. And Louis like, hello, little dog. I am Big Black Dog. He's like, have you heard of Shannon Sharp? And Clyde's like, no! That man talked about Shannon Sharp. I know what happens. Oh, hold on. Whoa, hold on. Well, that was funny. They got a little too rough there. Rougiette Men's Health for 5 Australian dollary doodles. Thank you. What a nice day to enjoy Rougiette Health. 80 milligrams to spend time with your other family. Ew. Ew. Oh. So, all right, guys, we're going to get started here. Cover the Karen Reed stuff. And we're ready to go. Humping is a power dynamic with dogs. Oh, I know it is. I know it is. But I was worried. Louis like, I heard about this guy named Shannon Sharp. And then let's see here. All the names in blue are DEI hires. Well, yeah, you don't get to become the Janny. Being a Janny's not a meritorious thing. So, all right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So, if you guys remember Destiny, and obviously Destiny the streamer, not the stripper, not the video game, but Destiny the streamer, the political streamer, had a lawsuit filed against him by Pxie. Pxie is one of his orbiters. She alleged in her complaint, and really, I mean, it was kind of clear based on what Destiny had done and had done things before, that he, and this is Destiny, if you don't know who he is, that's him. Pretty much kind of like, him and Hassan and like Ethan, I almost said Ethan Ralph. Ethan Klein and Hassan Piker and Destiny are all right there. So on the left, they're huge as far as things are considered. Well, Destiny has had all these, history of doing all kinds of scandals and things like that. Well, one of the things is that Destiny has done before, allegedly, has sent nude pictures of women around. Well, in this time, one of those women named Pxie was like, okay, we ain't fucking doing this. And he had sent it out to everybody. And her shit got leaked out on the internet. So she sued him for a couple of different theories, including a violation of a federal law regarding the dissemination of images, a state law claim on that, and then intentional infliction of emotional distress, and another claim there. Is that his real name? No, his real name is Stephen Bennell. Destiny is not his real name. That's his screen name. Does anybody think, does anybody think Hassan actually got detained? I do. Probably did. When you're running around sucking a fucking Houthi terrorist dick, on camera, yeah, the government might stop you and ask you where the hell you been. That's why I don't like you don't go suck the dick of a Houthi terrorist on the internet. Like you don't give him an interview. But hey, you do what you do. So, but no, Destiny is yeah, he did. No, Hassan really did Hassan interviewed one of the guys, one of the Houthi terrorists that was taking over boats and shit. He chose to be called Destiny. Well, yeah, I mean, like that was his screen name back in the day, and it kind of went from there. It just happens, I mean, like it works. It works. It works. I mean, that's like it does. It's not a bad name. I mean, that's not what we should be focusing on here, you guys. The issue is that Destiny has sent out these woman's nude pictures without her permission. Now he's claiming there was permission. Obviously, it's going to come down to he said, she said. Yeah, this is his screen name for when he played StarCraft. So, Destiny's a girl's name. Okay. Yes. All right. Well, we're getting back to this, guys. So he did all of this. The lawsuit was filed back in February. Destiny got really mad at me because I claimed he didn't have attorneys at the time. He put out his crazy ass his manifesto. And I just can't imagine any attorneys counseled him that was a good idea. He got really mad about it. And I thought I was thrilled that Destiny learned who I am. And he did. And he got really mad at me. He called me a penny lawyer. So, with that being said, Pxie and her attorneys, they filed a lawsuit back in February of 2025. Which, okay, that makes sense. You file your complaint. And then Destiny's attorneys responded after a while. And they entered in appearances. And they filed an answer in affirmative defenses about a month later. You're like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, perfect. And then things kind of drug on. There's a bunch of shit in here where they had a scheduling report, they had a transcripts going on. They had a conference. And then at the beginning of the month, Pxie filed a motion for a restraining order, a temporary restraining order. Now remember, when you do what's a penny lawyer, that I must be some schmuck. That was his idea of insulting me. So, anyway, this is a motion for a restraining order. Now, typically when you file a lawsuit, and this is where when I saw this, the reason why we didn't cover it right away, we need to see what the other side's going to say. There's not a whole lot to go off of right now on the 3rd. So, what were we waiting for? We're waiting for the rest of it. And the rest of it didn't come in until the end of the month. And by that point, Kieran Reed had already started. So we weren't going to waste time on it. The other thing that happens is, I didn't think this was going to work. And I think you guys heard me mention this. Normally, when you're seeking a protection order or some sort of preliminary injunction or things like that, you normally file it with your lawsuit. Filing it later, something new better have happened, because the idea of a temporary restraining order is kind of like an emergency motion. Like, oh my God, my hair is on fire type of situation. And it has to be happening. Filing it a month and a half later, you file February 18th, you file a complaint. And then in the beginning of April, you then file your protection order. That's not a very convincing argument timeline-wise to me. And I said that at that point. It didn't seem to make sense to do that. But they did it. And that's where we are. So there's been a bunch filed, and we're going to go through some stuff here. So why is Pxie seeking, remember guys, this is Pxie, she's Jane Doe. Why is she seeking a restraining order? Why is she seeking a temporary restraining order? And guys, this is no different. Remember, we're in federal court, so the TROs are no different than the ones regarding Trump that we've covered tons of times before. And yes, it's 26 pages. We're not going to cover it like that. We're not going to go through all of it. Now, remember, they talk about being entitled to injunctive relief, and that's what a TRO is. It's an injunction. So remember, there's 4 parts to get an injunction, okay? You have to be likely to prevail on the merits of your case. That's number one. Number two, you'll be irreparably harmed if this conduct is not stopped. The balance of the equities weighs in favor of an injunction, and the public is served by the injunction. Now, remember, these are both private parties, so you have all four things. When the government's involved, you basically 3 and 4 become one, and then you only have three things to basically consider. So what is the issue here? What's going on, and why are they asking for this? That's the real issue. Why now? Why over a month and a half later? Why wasn't this part of your initial action? I don't know. Here, and we're going to take a look at this. So, they're asking for a TRO to prevent Destiny, and that's who Stephen Bonnell is, from further sharing, distributing, or publishing the intimate videos. They want to compel him to remove all publications of the videos and all messages between him or her from all forums he controls directly or indirectly. They want, they're ordering Destiny to direct third parties in writing to remove all published intimate images. So here's where it starts to get a little iffy. Okay, if he was still sharing it, that makes sense. Stop sharing it. I think you guys can argue that makes sense. Number two, remove all the things he's posted, all the images and videos and messages between him and her that he's posted. Okay, that makes sense too. Take down all the stuff you put up. Stop sharing it and take down all the stuff you put up. Okay, cool. This third one gets to be a little bit of an issue here. Direct third parties in writing to remove all the images and any information under their control. So that means he would have to contact Josh at the farms and say, hey, take it down. He would have to contact somebody who put this shit on Twitter. Take it down. How does he have any, at that point, there's nothing he could do about that. And merely making him, forcing him to go out and interact with a third party, that doesn't make much sense to me. Why would you force that? That is a problem. I think that one doesn't work. The math doesn't math there. The math doesn't ask. Destiny said a few things. I know he said some things, but overall, after a while, Destiny's kind of gone back to his thing of just doing Destiny stuff, doing his politics, and also covering internet drama when it pops up. That's where he should go. And he's done that. He's kind of followed the basic advice of go do other stuff. Don't make this worse. In the meantime, though, this is I don't understand how you comply with the third way, but we're going to get to that. We'll get to that. Just when you read it on its face, I don't know how he could comply with that. And then fourth, they want to order him to retrieve the messages he has deleted, to cease and desist from destroying evidence, to preserve all discoverable information. Well, that's not what a TRO is for. That's a separate order. That's a separate action in court. You don't get a restraining order to preserve evidence. If you want to preserve evidence, you can preserve it. There's other options. There's other rules. There might even be local rules. There's other things you can file. But going and using a injunction like this, that's not an acceptable way. That's not an acceptable way. I mean, there's, pursuant to discovery, you can do things. There's Rule 26. There's Rule 37, which is to cooperate with discovery and to force parties to do things. But just to come in here and that's not what a TRO is meant for. So we're going to get to the statement of facts here. And they talk about ultimately he induced Plant to be in a hotel and engage in relations and then shared at least one of the videos, if not more, without Pxie's consent. That's the ultimate. This is the meat of the issue here. That's what Destiny's accused of doing. And pretty much sounds like he did. Because it sounds like Destiny's pretty much admitted to it. Now, they talk about her being a newcomer in the political streaming arena, and that was her way of kind of clout chasing. But Pxie told him, I'm okay with people knowing we're hanging out, but if anyone asks about sex, I'd rather deny and keep that private. Okay. So as this goes on and on and on, they do their things. And this concern was reiterated back again in 2023 when a woman alleged that Pxie had relationships with Destiny. And she asked him if he had told anyone, and he denied, other than telling him his wife. And she said, no one knows either on my end except my boyfriend. And then at some point here, we did chat. You can see this. We saw the Discord messages. He disseminated the video to somebody named Rose. And despite knowing nothing about Rose, her real name or age, he shared the video of him and Pxie without her consent, according to Pxie. And then in November, you guys remember this, right after Thanksgiving, this shit dropped and it found its way onto the farms. The videos were shared all over the place to Not Fans, Thought Hub, Pornbiz, Epog, and Aeromeet. The captions on the video were about Destiny and Pxie, so it's very clear. And her face is visible in the videos. So there are published 25 other videos, including video of Pxie were all over the place, including videos of Destiny's ex-wife, Melina. You guys have seen the meme clip of her dancing with the black guy, and Destiny just goes like this into the camera. He's staring at the computer like, and they're dancing behind him. That's all ABBA and his wife are dancing. That's Destiny, if you guys didn't realize that. There's all kinds of stuff here. Now, we've already talked about this. The video's been shown a bunch of times, yada, 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 58,000, 10,000, 10,000. It's everywhere. She asked him to take it down, and, he says he admitted his guilt, saying, I'm sorry, there's no excuse, yada, 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 yada. I'm super sorry. There's literally no excuse. We already got through all this. This is nothing new. They talk about what went on through January. He had shared it with another woman named, some woman named Hannah Brooke contacted Pxie saying that he had shared it with her sister 2 months earlier. There's all kinds of stuff that went on. Destiny and his fans started acting like complete fucking lunatics. We've already been through the complaint. All right. That's all happened here. But when you get to this, so what's the new thing? Because we're reading through this now. We're on page 11. Okay. Well, we're learning about Cherry. Cherry is one of the other political streamers. And she found out that Destiny had recorded them having sex audioly. They made an audio recording. And she didn't know about it. Okay. Okay, what's the new thing here? What's the new point? Is there anything new so far? No, there's nothing new. We're still talking about shit in January. So what's the thing here? It's all done. There's no new information. There's no new information here so far. They haven't said he's done something. So they haven't brought forward, what's the new point? And I said this at the time. There was nothing new. I hadn't heard him doing anything else. Maybe a statement here or there, but they talk about these conduct. Everything happened in January, like the end of January or earlier. So what's the new conduct? This is why you don't file these. Why wasn't this accompanying your lawsuit? It would make far more sense. It would make far, far more sense. Kurt says, exciting. Hi, Kurt. How are you doing? Kurt over at Uncivil Law. Doing great work out there. So hope you're doing well, Kurt. I just don't understand why they didn't do this right away. I don't understand why they didn't do this. So it doesn't make much sense to me. They talk about that an ongoing violation of the right to privacy. Okay, well, is it ongoing still? I mean, it's out there. If he did it, okay, great. But if he asked these people to take it down, that third prong, if he asked, Thought Hub to take down the video and it's not, they're going to say, sorry, we're not taking it down. Although they're in the porn industry, you've got different issues there of consent issues. They have some reasons they'll probably take it down out of federal compliance. But overall, there's all kinds of places that won't take it down. Then what do you do? So I don't understand why this was filed now. I don't understand why this was filed now. Notice, no new dates. They aren't talking about no new things that happened here. Nothing new. Nothing new has happened. So this is where it's like, why are we doing this now? This is kind of retarded. Now we get to the end point of like requiring minimal or no security. A lot of times when you're seeking an injunction or a restraining order, you have to post a bond, meaning you have to put up money to show you're serious and that you'll legitimately claim it. If it turns out you're wrong, you'll lose that money. It's a way to make sure you have skin in the game. Courts can waive that if they determine it. But ultimately, yeah, here's what's going on with Destiny so far. This is not the proper, I will say this much here, preserving all discoverable evidence, that is not what a TRO is for. There's other motions you could seek with the court to prevent that. But yeah, directing Kiwi Farms to take stuff down, that's not happening. Especially Destiny coming and asking the farms. So, and even if let's say he messages Destiny. Let's say Destiny messages Josh. What happens then? Let's say, what happens then? No. Okay, I tried. Is that it? I don't see Pxie going along with it at that point. Oh, wait, this didn't put me on Twitter? Damn it. Well, it's supposed to be on Twitter tonight too. So anyway, this is, I don't know what this gets you from Pxie side of it. This is kind of stupid. This is kind of a stupid motion. And not even reading it right off the bat when I first saw it, I'm like, what's the time frame? I wasn't aware of anything new, and I follow the thread as a good way to keep up on stuff. There was no point. And even here, when you read Pxie, she did an affidavit in response to stuff. She did a statement of penalty perjury. Basically it's a declaration. So what does she say here? Well, all the basic stuff. I'm over 18 years of age. I have personal knowledge. I'm the live streamer using the name Pxie. I started communicating with Destiny in 2020. I met him after multiple conversations. I had sex with him in Miami. Okay, cool. Yeah. They talk about what happened in March of 2023, November of 24. And they talk about more about November of 24. January 2025. And then February, he streamed his statement. Yep, he streamed his statement, and that was really kind of it. Notice that wasn't discussed in the other motion. That wasn't discussed in the motion. So it's like, why isn't that put in the motion? On February 21st, he tells the Discord community, I was dating my supervisor in my prior job. That, like, if you had this exhibit, like, where's that one? Like, that would be a good one with proof attached. I mean, that's the thing here. He hasn't done a whole lot. He's actually been pretty quiet, which is the smart thing. And notice we have those two little spots right immediately right after it. But what do we see anymore? You don't see anything else. You see January. She talks about, and this part I believe probably is true. 15 women reached out to her and told her they received images from Destiny. Okay. But after that, lately it's been pretty quiet from what I understand. She talks about Cherry saying she found out Destiny made an audio recording of their sex. More January 25, December 24. And that's it. Now, somebody sent me a message and asked me about this. This is clearly a different page. This is okay. For wherever reason she was at, this was scanned in, and this probably looks like it was scanned on a phone. It's kind of shittily done. That's acceptable. You can have that is clearly not the same, whoever typed this up. They sent her the declaration page. She signed it, approved it, and signed it, and sent back this page. That's not uncommon. This is no big deal. This is good to go. That'd be good to go for whoever did it. So I know some people worried about that. Don't worry about it. Cherry, the money is gone. Oh. Let's see here. What else we got? Who's played Weezer? Oh, Josh likes Weezer? There's nothing wrong with Weezer. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with using Weezer's good. I don't know why people don't like Weezer. Looks like your kid signed it. Well, she's signing it as Jane Doe. Remember, you can sign your name however you want. If you sign your name with an X and make your mark, that's your signature. You can make your signature like a little kitty cat face and smile. Whatever you make your signature, you could make your signature. That's not a problem to do. Whatever you adopt. But there's no, like, it doesn't make any sense that she's not printing it out here. So that's, that's okay. That's okay. But overall, notice she doesn't really have anything new. Right after the lawsuit got filed, Destiny did his little spurg out. But after that, he was quiet. Notice there's nothing new. Nothing in March and nothing in April. She didn't cite any of that. So why are we filing this? Why are we filing this? That doesn't mean her complaint doesn't have merit. I think it does. This just doesn't have merit here, guys. And I think it's important to see one of these where you can look at it and say, without reading the rest of this, you can look at this and say, why? Why are we filing this? And I think it's important to see that. Do I think there's nothing fundamentally wrong with this document? It's her attorneys are competent. It's competently done. Why come back to Twitch? Because I accidentally clicked the button there. That's why. So would the judge call this motion futile? No, and I don't think Destiny's filed a Rule 11 for this, which I'm surprised they didn't. I would have filed a Rule 11 if I were them, because I think you could argue this gets you kind of in Rule 11 territory. So I don't know why they didn't. I don't know why they didn't do it, but that's just me. That's just me. Now, this is in response to all of this, Destiny's attorneys, they filed a motion. And from here, they do some stuff which I'm like, why did we just now get to this? Once again, Pxie's attorneys did something kind of stupid. And I think Destiny's attorneys did something like, why? 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 So Destiny, and notice we went through 26 pages pretty quick, chat. I'm trying to work on that with you guys. I know you guys are asking me to try to go quicker through stuff. I hope you like that. I hope you like that. I'm trying to listen to your suggestions. But from here, they file an opposition to the preliminary injunction. And notice that they were asking for a TRO. They're calling it a preliminary injunction. In this situation, it's tomato, tomato. So what is Destiny arguing here? Well, they argue she's not entitled to injunctive relief. And this is interesting. They're arguing that, and we're going to get to this, subject matter jurisdiction is lacking. And this is where I'm like, this is it's interesting you do it now. And that's where, like I said, I've got some issues. We'll get to these, okay? So we're going to skip the introduction. The introduction is pretty much kind of recapping what's going on here. And this is an important part. The court's already denied finding there was no emergency because the plaintiff waited too long to file. The court should deny the remaining motion for a preliminary injunction. And I think this is an issue. You wait too long. It's the principle of lashes. Remember, a TRO and an injunction, you're running around, oh my God, my hair is on fire type of emergency. It's a big problem. What's the problem? Where's the fire? And I think this is a fair argument to make. If I was Destiny's team, I'd make the argument too. You waited 40 days to file this? It can't be that big of a fucking problem. Why were you waiting? You should have, why didn't you go right away? You didn't. Now they point out that there is, they point out they're asking him to do things he has already done or is under an obligation to do. That Pxie herself has gone out, including getting donations to cover legal fees. Now that's a little bit different, saying, hey guys, I'm trying to sue somebody who did me wrong. Give me money, support my case. I don't think that's a bit of an issue to argue that's in the same vein as, oh my God, he plastered naked pictures of me all over the internet. Or they got out and then people ran with it and plastered it all over the internet. I think you have to be, I think that's a bit issue there. But I do agree. She waited a very long time. Remember, 40 days. It's a long time to wait. Now, here's an issue. They're talking about the lacking of subject matter jurisdiction. And subject matter jurisdiction can be challenged at any time. Does the court have the ability to hear this case? And they talk about why they're in federal courts because of 15 U.S.C. 6851. And they say it's fatally flawed because the alleged violation preceded the effective date of the statute by nearly 6 months. And because the statute is not retroactive, the court does not have subject matter jurisdiction. They say because the court has no jurisdiction here, the case, they can't establish a probability of success. You know, the interesting place to raise a fucking subject matter jurisdiction would be? You know, there's a really neat time you could do that. There's a really neat way you could do that in your motion to dismiss in response to the complaint. Remember, chat, we talked about that right off the bat. Why was there no motion to dismiss? Because remember, we had that issue. You have to file your motion to dismiss before you answer it. And why didn't they do it? Why? I mean, if they already knew the timelines and they knew the dates and times, everything that was established so far, why are you waiting till now? I mean, you can raise subject matter jurisdiction at any time because if the court has no jurisdiction to hear the case, it always has to stop. So subject matter jurisdiction could be raised anywhere. But why? Why would you do this? Why would you wait so fucking long? If you can crush like that's the thing, chat. Going back to this, I mean, we're now like they filed this on the 25th. Okay. Destiny filed this on the 25th, right there. We're 2 months in. And you could have like crushed it almost right off the bat. You know, a month later, you filed your answer. Why weren't you crushing it right there and killing it right there? I mean, that's why would you wait? Why would you wait? I mean, you knew this at the time because you had all the information. Now, I mean, is this part of the issue is his attorneys just responded because they weren't ready and they didn't have a whole lot of time? They could have asked, here's the neat thing. They could have asked for an extension of time to respond. And you know what the court would have said? Here's the thing. I know some of you guys are saying, well, they didn't have enough time. You know what you do? You file a motion, Your Honor. We were retained. We need more time to answer. You know what the court says? Congratulations. I'll give you 30 more days, 40 more days. That's all it takes. That's all it takes to get more time. But to sit there and answer it and deny it and waste all that time, when instead you could have just come through and said, this isn't right. This is bullshit. It shouldn't even been filed. Why? I don't get why you would bother. Just crush it. I mean, that's a lot of time that got burned on this. I mean, just look at like your attorneys did all this shit. You know, this is a motion in opposition that's 28 pages long, has all kinds of exhibits and multiple, Destiny's own affidavit. Why wouldn't you just kill it right off the bat? I get they might have a plan here, but I don't understand the plan. I don't understand the plan. I just don't. You don't need to raise it. Well, you don't have to if the court realizes it, but you should raise it because you can't trust the court will notice it. But yes, courts can sua spontaneously bring up issues of subject matter jurisdiction. I just don't know why you wouldn't do it. Am I going to go over everything with Denham's and Ethan Klein? Yes, that's going to be interesting. Also, Ethan Klein on appeal lost his appeal. He was appealing some issues with Ryan Kavanaugh, the guy who did Triller. And that's a defamation lawsuit Ethan Klein's got. Yes, Ethan Klein's got some issues coming his way. But yes, Denham's is one of the other commie orbiters with destiny. I know Chud Logic doesn't like when I call them all commies, but it's like, suffer socialists. There, how about that? It doesn't work as good. But this is where I just don't understand why we waited this long. Because we're talking about subject matter jurisdiction. You could have done this like day one. But hey, it is what it is. And they say even if the court had jurisdiction, it should deny the motion because they can't demonstrate irreparable harm. This is a single... Now, here's where I think this is something somebody mentioned on the farms, and I thought this might be a theory that they're going to try, and this might be it. And I think this is going to be Destiny's plan. It's a single transmission of one video to one individual 3 years ago. He's going to say, so I did it back then. If I'm in trouble, you can only hurt me for that one dissemination. So Destiny's going to say you're limited in damages, which that I guess is a way around it because you're limiting your liability. You're saying, look, yeah, I did it, but it wasn't that big a deal. Normally you can't get away with that, but in this situation, you might, like, that might be his plan. It's a gambit because depending on how things go, you could be exposed a lot more, or you can really limit the exposure. I think that was something I wasn't sure if that was going to try to do, but it looks like that's the argument they're going to make, that even if they broke the law and wronged Pxie, she's entitled to nominal damages. So Destiny's willing to get balled out in court by a jury and then Pxie gets like $1 or $100,000. I think that's where Destiny's at. Now, they point out that on April 4th, they had a status conference, and the judge said, there's nothing that's happening today that wasn't happening when you filed the suit a month before. And that's a big thing. What is new? What's the new thing? The order requires you to have him do nothing more than he's required to do. There's no urgent issue before the court. And that's a big thing. Why now are we doing it? It doesn't... I need to make that bigger for you guys. Why now are we just now doing this? And I think it's a very important argument. What's the new harm? The harm has already been done. It's not still ongoing in that sense. So this is their statement of facts. We're skipping through this. They do point out, and this is interesting though, Pxie says here, I never sent Destiny any videos, or I've never sent videos of other people to Destiny ever. On multiple occasions, she actually did, in fact, offer to send him videos of herself and third parties, which, is part of their argument is that she was giving consent clearly because she was consenting to all this. I think that's a very shitty argument to make. There's other things you might be able to do, but saying, oh, well, because she's a hoe, she's not entitled to any privacy. Like, I don't know if that's the best argument you want to do there, but hey, you run with what you got. You run what you brung. So this went on and on and on and on, and they talk about all this stuff here. Would you want to make some videos together? Like, I get it. Part of the argument is Pxie a hoe. I still don't think that's the best argument you can make here. I get it, but I'm just not, yeah. So, but ultimately, Destiny doesn't know who leaked and unlawfully published his content online. Well, you. Destiny leaked it. He gave it to someone. Like, but for him doing this never would have happened. Like that's the thing. Had he never done this, nothing would have happened. But he suspects it as someone with access, lawfully or not, to the Discord chats. Well, if you hadn't given it to Rose and it wasn't in her Discord chats, guess what? It couldn't have been leaked. Now they go through all of this, and I don't understand why they bring this up because Pxie has the right to say, it's not me, I'm denying it because it's not clear if my face is in it. Okay, well, they point out within days he did take steps to have the video removed from various websites. He retains specialized legal counsel with expertise in revenge porn to assist him in connection with the removal efforts. This is where he's like, we're going after the hackers. It's like, okay, buddy, that didn't work. And in December, her tone turns hostile and threatening. Yes. Well, it kind of is because this was your fuck up. And then, yes, prompting Destiny to get a mutual friend of his and theirs to get involved. And that's Kyla, or whatever the fuck her name is, not so erudite, which, I don't, she isn't very erudite. She's pretty stupid. Destiny sent her to go be a hatchet man. That was kind of sketch anyway. Now, speaking of plaintiff, their mutual friend advised Destiny he should offer money to her. Yeah, okay. So they go on that Destiny received a document preservation demand from the attorneys, which that's how that goes, a notice to preserve. And then at the end of January, they sent him a follow-up letter demanding he pay $15 million for damages she allegedly incurred. Okay. Upon receipt of the first letter, he began preserving all documents and correspondence to the claims. Contrary, he has not. Now, this is where you get to like Nick Rekieta stuff. He has not permanently deleted or destroyed any evidence pertaining to the lawsuit. Well, what's not permanently deleted mean? Does that mean you can recover some of it? That's a weird way to phrase that. That's a weird way to couch that. I don't know why you would couch it like that. I'm just saying. That just seems a little weird to phrase it that way. Because the idea that you don't temporarily delete things, deleting it implies you permanently removed it. Or you intended it to be removed. So, yeah. I just think it's I don't know if I would have phrased it like that. Unless they know Destiny attempted to do something, like maybe he tried to delete stuff and they were able to recover it. Maybe that's their way of getting around the issue. And I can see that. I can see the argument they're making there. But that's yeah. He deleted files of correspondence, but only after he took adequate steps to preserve all such evidence. I mean, really? Like, how do we know that? Like, you can't really do all that. If you delete files of correspondence, I mean, well, the originals are your best evidence. These are copies. How do we know they're protected? How do we know they're digital chain of custody? So why would you do any of that? That doesn't really protect it. Ironically, they do say, and they pull an Ethan Ralph saying, ironically, it is you who have engaged in spoliation. For example, on or about January 20th, Pxie deleted a message she sent to Destiny, in which she wrote, I feel like whatever I ask you to cover will be too high a price. Less than 1 week after she deleted the message, her attorney sent the $15 million demand. Okay. So she's bouncing back and forth between emotions. At the end of the day, Destiny, it still doesn't make you look any better here, buddy. So. But I understand it's the attorney's job to do that. And that's a fine point to make. Now, they claim that 15 witnesses have come forward, but there's only one declaration that's been provided by a Hannah Brooke purporting to state as such. However, in the declaration, they have nothing to do with the video. They also claim that she played a significant role in exacerbating the harm she suffered by posting a lengthy public statement promoting the leaks on her Substack. I mean, if you're going to say that, guess what? Guess what? Doing a big Guess what doing a big manifesto and taking like 2 hours to talk about it does? Guess, like, once again, this is the issue. You go around doing all of this. This is why it doesn't help you to make a statement like that. Your attorney should have been involved. Because now when they make these statements, this doesn't look good. Very much you did the same thing. Now, she also says that plaintiff false Destiny, Pxie falsely accused Destiny of intentionally distributing pornographic content and using a proxy to widely distribute the video for self-promotional reasons. I mean, I don't know. Nonsense. In reality, Destiny was the primary target of the leaks. I mean, I don't doubt that. People did this to fuck with Destiny. Nobody cares about Pxie. But Destiny created, as he says, collateral damage. Yeah, you harmed your avarice and hubris. Caused other people to be harmed because people exploited it. So, now this is where I think you run into problems. The false accusations of public narrative mischaracterize it and also amplify the spread of the video, thereby worsening the purported harm. I don't think I'd make that argument there. I understand, like, I could see making it, but I don't know if I would have. Because, like I said, your own client went out and did his own shit. I just don't know. I don't know. Yes, this is some of the this is the Destiny revenge porn stuff. So, the whole manifesto, yes. So, they talk about in her Substack post, she indicated she was planning to file a lawsuit. Okay, which there's nothing wrong with that. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a problem. You're allowed to advertise that. I'm seeking recourse. Because you'd almost be able to say, well, it's, filing the lawsuit itself is harmful because it draws attention. Yeah, you can't make that argument. Seeking recourse and redress in court is now harming yourself. So her commentary drew significant attention online and caused innumerable people to search and download the video. Once again, who gave their crazy manifesto? Who gave the crazy manifesto? Hold on, chat. Sorry, chat, I'm back. Hold on one second. No, it's not even victim shaming. It's not victim shaming. This is just, you're saying she caused the problems, but it's like, buddy, you did the same exact goddamn thing. Your whole fucking video about that. How much more attention do you think you drew? How many more eyes do you think you saw? How many people like me with Stitch and Adam broke down your response? That's, yeah. And then it goes on. Her friend Lauren Hayden, also Lauren De Laguna, created a Give Send Go to raise money to cover legal fees. Once again, that's people doing a Give Send Go is not that they've made some good arguments earlier. Now this is a shit one. How dare you seek help? At this point, she's raised $50,000 of her $130,000 goal. Her public comments have led to more interest in the video. In her motion papers, the plaintiff directs the court and various public websites where the video can be found. Now, they say without even filing a pleadings under seal. Now, and that's. I read this earlier, and I was like, I read this earlier, and I was torn. And you know what? I will, given their argument here, I was still torn about this. I'll give this one to Destiny's team. That's a point that cuts both ways, but I'll let it work there. I'll let it work there. And I was still torn about how I looked at this, because I could see both arguments to be made here. And I've thought about it more and more. And my initial thought was it's a good argument. But then I went back and forth on it. And I'm still on the side of, I haven't been convinced that her attorneys made the right decision here. So I will, once again, Destiny's attorneys made a very good point. And I told you guys, like, I'm being honest, I've sat here and had to think about this since I read all of this stuff. They identified specific websites and also provided URLs to those sites, but even suggested search terms. Now, they suggested search terms, but they didn't give, like, here's the actual link, or here's what you have to type specifically. So, yeah. Now, the legal standard for an injunction, we're not going to get to, because this is really the only part that matters here is the subject matter jurisdiction part. Now, she claims this all happened under federal law because this applies. And yes, that's why they're in federal court. Because remember, Pxie and Destiny live both in Florida. So there would be no diversity jurisdiction. And even though the amount of controversy is greater than $75,000, there is no diversity jurisdiction regarding the citizenship of the parties. So they're both Florida residents, so they can't sue in federal court in Florida without federal action supporting it. Now, they talk about this, and they say the court must not give retroactive effect to statutes burning private rights unless Congress says so. And this is a case, Landgraf versus USI Film Productions, 511 US 244. That is a Supreme Court case. So this isn't a district court case or an 11th Circuit case. No, it's the United States Supreme Court. So there are other cases, though. Federal district courts have held that it can't be applied retroactively. They go to the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. I'm sure there's not a ton of places. I'm sure there aren't a ton of cases for this. So they're kind of stuck with that. And they say that her claim cannot lie as a matter of law. And in the case that they're looking at here, this is the Supreme Court case they go back to in Landgraf. There's no clear intent to imply the statute retroactively. And we read through the statute, guys. There wasn't any intention in the statute for it to be retroactive. Okay, well, if it's not retroactive, then that's a problem. And if that's a problem, then they might not have any jurisdiction to be in federal court. But we'll address there's an end run around that, but we'll discuss why that's probably not going to work either. And they say here the transmission preceded the effective date by 6 months. Now, in their complaint, they say she mistakenly believes that it was sent on or about October 4th. The mistake is understandable. In a screenshot of the transmission, the date of the communication appears to be 10/4/2022. However, the date is reflected using the European date format because Rose was communicating with Benel from a European time zone. So the way it works in Europe, guys, the date would be, this date here would be the 10th of April, 2022. We would read this as October 4th, 2022. And if we were going to say April 10th, 2022, you do 4/10. You would do 4/10. That would be April 10th. In Europe, they do the 10th of April. That's the same date. It's just done differently. So now they're pointing out that it's a mistake. Is that the case, though? I don't know. How do they know? How do they know where this is where they would have to know where this was taken. And is this a... Notice they're not saying she's lying, she's wrong, she's mistaken. I don't know how that works there. What about the Jewish calendar? So, no. So you're gonna do a Russell thing, guys. We'll do Russell over the weekend just because we got to get through Karen Reed. Russell deserves a whole week. He deserves a whole Friday night. Spughead says we use a superior day, month, year, not month, a day, year. Yes. Lucky Lime says you're spending too much time on this. This was added as a clarification. Well, it's important to know. It's important to know. But it does help here. They also point out it's absent any evidence he transmitted the video after the date of statute, because she's now aware the actual date of transmission was in April 2022. Now, how do they know that? They see the evidentiary objections that were filed. And we'll take a look at those. And they say because the date precedes the effective date, there's no federal question and no basis for subject matter jurisdiction. Accordingly, you can establish a likelihood of prevailing. Therefore, the motion must be denied and the lawsuit dismissed, which I still think they should have been able to do this right off the bat. But I think that shows at the beginning, and this is something where they go through this, and I want to wait till we got to this point. I think they must have thought it still applied to till they figured out where Pxie got the screenshot from. Because if they known this right off the bat, then why did they dick around? And I think they did this because I think they thought they were in trouble too. Now, some of you are wondering, well, they consented to the jurisdiction. No, they didn't. Subject matter jurisdiction cannot be consented to like that. Personal jurisdiction you could consent to. But if subject matter jurisdiction is not right, the court will not accept it like that. The court has to only hear cases it's empowered to hear. Now, the issue of supplemental jurisdiction, and that's why the state law claims were tied to it. Well, what can happen there? So they point out that these are state law claims only. And federal law is clear that the root federal claims are dismissed before a trial. A court should decline to exercise supplemental jurisdiction. Now, it can, but it can also let the claim survive at times. Generally, it does not, but it could. They cite a case, United Mine Workers, which is a pretty big case. They say if federal claims are dismissed before a trial, the state claims should be dismissed. And the courts can decline to exercise jurisdiction if the court dismissed all of the claims that it had original jurisdiction over. But it doesn't have to. It can, but it does not have to. So... Oh, Bamala saying Menendez brothers got resentenced to 50 years. They're eligible for parole. Oh, well, good for them. Yes, they were sentenced to 2 life sentences back to back. So yeah, they were never going to get out, but now they're in. Is this the Darrell Brooks defense? No. This is important. This is important. This is actually important stuff here, guys. Darrell Brooks is an idiot. Destiny's attorneys are making a very good argument. You don't have jurisdiction here. And sometimes that's the proper argument to make. You never had the right to hear this case. And they're pointing out that ultimately state law courts should be the ones doing state law. That there's no federal question. But to be fair, remember, if Pxie lived in another state, they could be in federal court deciding only state law claims. And they point out there's no federal question anymore if it gets dismissed. There's no diversity jurisdiction. Remember, she's not a separate state resident. They say counts 2 through 4 are exclusively under Florida statutory and or common law and should be dismissed. Which, you know what, if that happens, Pxie can go to state court if she wants to. And I presume she will. I don't think she's just going to stop. But that's even if it gets that far. The court, who knows what the court's going to do. Because they're going to have to prove that issue. And then they said, even if that happens, the likelihood of success is not there. We're not going to get into this because this is just, we're arguing over the ultimate issue of, And I think the biggest thing here is they're going to win on it's not a timely motion. And I think that's very critical. I think it's very critical to show this wasn't timely filed. And I think it's important for you guys to see that. That's why when you heard me, I think we went through at the beginning. Why didn't she file a restraining order at the beginning? It didn't make sense to me. And I'm not sure why they didn't. But they sat around and fucked around for a month. And now the judge is like, yeah, no, sorry, you can't do that. And I think that's the proper decision here. Also, this is kind of fleshed out what Destiny's ultimate game plan is. I think he's going to say, well, I don't think he's going to have the defense. Let's say all these jurisdictional arguments fail and the court doesn't believe the 10/4/2022 thing and they believe he sent it in October. From there, let's say all that failed. I think he's going to try to run the gambit of I only gave it away once. Somebody else did something wrong. So you get nominal damages. I think that's Destiny's game plan if this all didn't work out. Therefore, he's innocent. Well, harlots shouldn't have the right to privacy. Yeah, that's not, well, funny. So some of you guys are talking about your date things here. Michael Gelke, you say you use year, month, and day as the true way. That's an interesting way of doing it. That's the interesting way here. So you guys want to use the Mayan calendar? Okay. Now, they go through all this. They haven't provided evidence of imminent future harm. And I think that's true. What's the new harm? There was nothing new. And the judge says, true. Nothing new is happening today. We've already gone through this. I don't see what the request is not stale. I agree. It sounds pretty stale. Why did you wait this long? You know, there's nothing new. If there was new conduct, then fine. That's the problem here. So, the requested orders seek to enjoin conduct that is not occurring. And that's the other big thing. Like, I'm not doing the thing. So why would you do that here? And here's the other thing. Spoliation issues. You use Rule 37, chat. And that's where I was mentioning there are things you can do to stop the spoliation of evidence if you think it's happening. You could seek orders with the court, and one of them is Rule 37, failure to make disclosures or cooperate in a discovery. You know, you can make an order for compelling discovery. And guys, remember from the Russell Greer case, Rule 37 has been used a ton by Matthew Hardin. It happens all the time. You know, you can motion to compel disclosure. You can motion to compel a response. You can do related to a deposition, evasive or incomplete discovery. You know, an incomplete disclosure and answer a response. You can ask for that. You can ask to do a lot of things here. You know, you can failures to comply with court orders. You know, you can get sanctions for not obeying discovery orders. There's all kinds of things you can do. If you don't produce somebody for examination, you know, there's all kinds of stuff you can make it. You can make request here. Parties failure to attend their own depositions, or serve answers to interrogatories, or respond to a request for inspection, meaning inspection of documents or items. There's all kinds of things. Failures to preserve electronically stored information. You know, if you fail to take reasonable steps to preserve it, which meaning deleting them. This is where you do this. This is where you do this. This is the proper vehicle. And I agree with Destiny's attorneys. This is what you file. You come here to file this. You don't file that as a injunction. Wait, that just said Rule 34. No, this is Rule 37. Spoliation means you're letting evidence spoil. Spoliation means you let things get destroyed. So, for example, like in the Karen Reed context, You let the evidence get destroyed. You know the hard drives are going to get rewritten every 90 days, so you don't protect it. Or you know that things are going to happen, but spoliation is the ability to preserve something, the inability to preserve something. Spoliation is letting things get destroyed, basically, intentionally, or just going, well, oh well, and then things go bad. So, for example, let's say there was a DUI case, and the only things we had were paper records of it, and the police department was shredding documents, and they accidentally shredded the file, and it's gone. Evidence has been spoliated, and you would file a motion for suppression under the theory of spoliation of evidence. The evidence is gone. We no longer have it. We can't do anything because it's been destroyed or ruined. So that's what spoliation is, and it's an issue. So very much like with Karen Reed, the hard drives, spoliation. It can be intentional or non-intentional, but it's still a party's responsibility to address it. Yeah, lots of spoliations going on with Karen Reed. Yep. The Delphi interviews, great example, Richard Allen. That happens too. Mineral Enhanced says you're not allowed to pull up my cringe comments I deleted. Sean, here's a neat thing. They aren't deleted on StreamYard, and I use StreamYard, so I could find whatever you put up here. So, Lucky Lime says, can you use Rule 37 if the opposing parties unjustly limiting the scope of discovery and not turning things over? Yes, it's a motion to compel. You would go to the court and say, Your Honor, we believe they have documents. They refuse to turn them over. And you could say, hey, and this is where, let's say, for example, it's Nick and Montegraph. Let's say Nick requests documents from Montegraph, and Montegraph says, no, I'm not giving them over. Now, Montegraph could say they're privileged. It's doctor-patient confidentiality, attorney-client privilege, whatever it is. Or he could just say, no, I'm not doing it. Fuck you. It's not relevant. Now, Nick can then go to the court and say, Your Honor, he has to turn them over. They don't have privilege. Like, let's say attorney-client privilege. Well, actually, they don't. They broke it because they talked about it in public. Let's say for doctor-patient, remember, Monty's claiming damages, and some of them are psychological. So guess what? Your mental health, your medical records are fair game to an extent. And then also just the idea of they're not relevant. No, Judge, we can prove they're relevant. Here's how we'll show you they're relevant. So there are ways you get those things in. But the motion to compel is what you do if you're having that problem. So yes, that's a very good question. Spoliation is a great argument for statute of limitations. I mean, well, statute of limitations is a separate argument, but yes, you can argue. And sometimes a proper argument for spoliation is striking complaints, striking answers, maybe dismissing a case, depending on what happened. Sometimes, yeah, that's the only remedy. Monriz says, wow, it didn't let me delete that. So, Shark Jumper says, I lost a 1-year-old nephew today to neuroblastoma. Fuck cancer. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I mean, I was only a year, but hope there were good times in that. I mean, on the their suffering is over. I mean, that's not necessarily the best answer in the world, but it is. Their suffering's done. And they only had to live 1 year before they got to go. They got to go be with, they got to go, experience the afterlife. Which, depending on how people have lived their life and gone on for decades, sometimes that might be a better situation. Who knows? So, anyways, I'm sorry for your loss. Sorry for your loss. And it won't get any better. That's the thing. I mean, that's the thing. With time, it won't hurt as much, but it doesn't get, doesn't hurt any less. So, didn't like your German either. Sorry. Well, that's not my fault. It was peaceful for him. Oh, well, that's good. That's very good. Haji Paji is saying Nick will ultimately defeat Steve Quest. He might. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But remember, guys, getting back to this, there are rules. If you're not complying, this is what you do. What you do. We got one person on Twitch. Well, there we go. There we go. Now, where were we? So, we're getting back to this here. Now, this is interesting here, where they say she admits she possesses no evidence of spoliation. The assertion that Benel's been systematically deleting and destroying evidence is absurd given the posture of this case. Well, you admitted he deleted stuff, just not permanently. So, but yes, remember they point out here that sanctions for alleged spoliation is governed by Rule 37, and that's true. And the judge also told them that, and like that's always embarrassing when the judge is like, "Do it this way," and you still don't do it. Like that'll piss off the judge very quickly. When the judge tells you file a motion A, the judge says, no, you have to file motion B instead. And you file motion A instead? Well, the judge thinks like, okay, well, now you're just not fucking listening to me. Never a good look. Never a good look. And they point out that they had been trying to compile enough evidence to file a motion for spoliation, and she was waiting for a specific piece of evidence. Okay, well, fine, but then you need that piece of evidence. And currently, they have not served Destiny with any document requests in this action. And spoliation is a discovery offense, so issues surrounding spoliation should be resolved during discovery. So if she has not served any requests for documents or requests for production, an RFP, then there's nothing really to spoliate, is their argument. And once again, this is a very good point for Destiny to make. You haven't asked us for anything. But if it turns out he did delete something, you can't say, well, until you ask me, it's not valid. Well, okay, fine. Then she asked for it. Well, then you're fucked. So I don't know why they haven't asked for documents either, too. And that's always a little weird thing there. But, they're operating on a time frame, I guess. Maybe they're waiting for the motion to, I don't know how they're handling that here. They say, due to the failure to serve document demand, she has no basis to assert, let alone evidence to support her contention that evidential material has been destroyed or otherwise lost. Now, here's the thing. If you know that they're deleting stuff, go ahead and demand documents, and then you deal with that. You don't wait for, I guess if this is what she's doing here, and this is where, when I was reading through all this, if she's sitting there trying to get that piece of evidence, like, it's not like a cross-examination where you get that piece of evidence and then you go cross-examine the person. No. If you think it's happening anyway, you're going to want the documents to start with. Now, granted, I get it. In Pxie's situation, they already have the documents. They already have communications, but you need his stuff anyway, so get it from him and then figure out, based on what you have, like the way you would normally do this, you would get all of his documents, you compare it with what you have and what you know and this information you're looking for. And can you prove that he's deleted something? Because if you could say, aha, there's no page 16 here. What did you do with page 16? Did you delete it? That's how you would that's how you do spoliation normally. Even if you know the other party probably did delete something or destroy something, you go get it, you get everything, and then you like course through it and find out what they've removed and destroyed. You don't sit there trying to get it all together and then try to prove spoliation like this. The way Pxie's attorney is doing it, they might have a plan. It's not a plan I would do. And I know, like, J-Rock, you're out there. It's probably not how you do it. Bama Law, it's not how you do it. Like most attorneys out there, I don't think would do it this way. So that's where I'm a little confused with some of these attorneys and how they're doing it. I am confused with what Destiny's attorneys are doing. But I'm also confused with how Pxie's attorneys are doing this. It's a little weird. It's a little weird to me. And I'm sure I'm not the only attorney who's thought that at this point. I'm not sure. I'm not sure at this point. Yes, he says, I heard there was only one person in here. I am here now. Well, thank you. EDW Raptor is here and Zero Skills. Yes. Twitch is the superior live stream experience. Yeah. Lucky Lime says, can you make the argument for spoliation before discovering? Not really. You wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would request discovery, and then I'd say, Your Honor, I mean, this is how I guess I would do it. And your answer is no. The answer to my question is no. I would request discovery. He would give me, Destiny would say, here's all my stuff. God, that made me feel like I was Hitler. I'm like, it's Land. Ta. No, but what did you do there? You would then get all the discovery and then say, hey, judge, we want a motion to compel. Destiny admitted on screen he deleted a bunch of shit. Where the fuck is it? That's the argument. That's how you would do it. Once again, guys, if that piece of evidence you have, well, in that case, you already have something. He said he deleted stuff. Well, then that's where you go through stuff. You'll do a motion to compel, maybe a motion for spoliation, and then Destiny would come back and say, wait. That's not what we meant. We were being tarded. Who knows? Then maybe you go to a deposition. We have to have a deposition on the discovery issue only. When you said you deleted stuff, what did you mean, sir? Did you delete things? What did you delete? How did you delete it? Where did it go? Have you tried to forensically recover it? Blah, 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 blah. But doing it this way, I don't get it. I don't get why they would do it this way. J-Rock, did you see here? Yeah, I'm confused. Like, both sides seem to not know exactly what they're doing. Yeah, they're both, like, going weird. They're both... And like I said, maybe I'm just a penny lawyer. I'm willing to admit that. Maybe they are doing the big galaxy brain moves on both sides, and I'm just a big old tard, and I don't know. I'm willing to admit that. That could be the issue here. It could be a skill issue. I don't think that's the case, though. But who knows? Who knows? My God, to find a good sandwich. This appears to be a dance around some specific piece of evidence. It is. But what is it? I don't know what more evidence you need. He's already said he's deleted stuff. I think there's multiple instances of proof he's deleted stuff. I don't know what's going on here. So this doesn't make much sense because you've already got proof he's fucked with things. Like I said, once again, it does not make sense. Oh, hi, Clyde and Louie are friends again. I guess they got over their humping phase. Like I said, guys, this may seem, you guys might not notice this, and I'm trying not to get bogged down in things, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. So maybe we'll find out more. Maybe we'll find out more ultimately. They say no such evidence spoliation exists, and says Destiny preserved all evidentiary material consistent with his legal obligations. Although you kind of admitted he deleted some things, not permanently. What is permanently deleted? And says no spoliation occurred. To find a spoliation, the court must find 4 specific things. It's electronically stored information. It should have been preserved. And the ESI is lost because a party failed to take steps to preserve it. It should have been preserved in anticipation of litigation, and it cannot be restored or replaced through additional discovery. Now, yes, he did delete things they probably recovered, but that still is a bad look because depositions could be, did you delete this? Yes. Why? You know, that's the problem. Even if you recover it and you avoid some adverse inferences, you have to admit you destroyed it or tried to destroy it. Now, Rule 37 does, and this is something that's true, because I've had these situations before, dealing with it and also going after it. Sanctions are not going to be enforced if you can restore it through additional discovery. And I had a client once, they deleted some stuff, and it's like one of their employees deleted a bunch of shit because they were idiots and they didn't realize what they were doing was wrong. We had to send that information out, like the hard drive had to get forensically searched. And we found everything, and it cost a bunch of money. But guess what? We did it. We had to do it. Now, concealing evidence from the general public does not by itself constitute spoliation. That's true. It doesn't. And I think the argument is he's deleting stuff off the public Discord and off DGG or whatever. That's what they're getting at. And hold on, who is reaching out to me here? Hold on here. Oh, and guys, I apologize. I didn't fill everybody in too well ahead of time. So my apologies for that about tonight. Now, concealing evidence doesn't form the basis of spoliation. That's true. But here's the thing. What the fuck are you guys doing? I can hear him licking something down there. And they point out the concealment is from the general public only, which was done at her request. And that doesn't constitute spoliation, and that's true. If Pxie says, take that down, okay, well, I did it. Now we both have records. As she confirms in her declaration, she requested Destiny delete the video and any and all content related to her, wherever it may exist. Her lawyers made a similar demand, and specifically upon the receipt of the first demand letter, he took steps to preserve all documents and correspondence. Well, and that all depends on how he actually did that. So they also point out the judge said the judge points out that if I got sued for distributing the materials about a woman, and I may have done that with other women, then I might say to myself, maybe I shouldn't do that anymore. Let me delete that. Let me take that back. Let's not do these things. When he says that may be one of the things going on, he says that's not spoliation. And that's true, because part of it at the end of the day would be to take stuff down. Some of the stuff that's in this motion, I'm not finding on its face what the connection is to this case. So, and then he said further, I don't even think spoliation is subject to the TRO, and I'll tell you why. He can't destroy evidence right now, right? You can't destroy evidence after you're on notice of the suit and the preservation letter has been sent. So if he's in fact destroying it, he can't do that. If he doesn't think it's destroying evidence for some reason, well, that will all play out in a motion for spoliation. And that's the judge's point. Well, we're going to do that later. They're licking something on the floor. It's not licking my sandwich. You guys are awful. You guys are awful. So, and I think the judge has got a very good point here. And this is, if I was Destiny's attorneys, this is the same argument I would make. If you think we've done something wrong, file a fucking motion about it. Like, if you think something's fucking happened, fucking do something about it. Okay, so she can't proffer any evidence of spoliation. It's both premature and unsupportable, and I agree. And I've said that before. If you think we've done something wrong, file a fucking motion about it. We've done everything we can. Now, they talk about here the conduct to take stuff down. Well, he's already undertaken some of it. They say that Bunnell has, aside from the fact the court may grant affirmative adjunctive relief, only in the rarest of circumstances, almost immediately after this, he retained legal counsel with the expertise to assist him in removing the content. Now, the publication is not within his control. Some websites did comply with his request to remove the content. And his request has already been exhausted. He's done everything he can. So there you go. He's like, I've already done everything you've asked for. They do wish for a bond, and this is where this is going to get interesting. A substantial security bond should be required if there is an injunction. And this is probably what's going to kill the bond. If the court orders it, then Pxie's not going to be able to meet it. They claim that Destiny's lost over $300,000 in revenue from streaming platforms. Okay. Well, as a result of the false allegations of public smear campaign, is that really it? Or is everybody like, wow, he's a fucking creep and he's like a fucking asshole? And like, oh my God, he fucking does this to everybody. Like, I think everybody's just fucking had it. Maybe that's the issue. I mean, like it's finally catching up to you, boss. That's probably the problem here. So the extent that the injunction is entered, it'll restrict his ability to defend himself online. He will lose more revenue. Why? Talk about politics. Talk about Trump. He loves talking about Trumpfler and playing his shitty little factory game or whatever it is. Play that game. Talk about Trump all the time. It's easy enough, man. Talk about Hassan and Ethan Klein. There's all kinds of things you can do. So they want her to post a security amount in of $500,000, which even if she got it and the court ordered this, she's toast. She can't get that. She won't be able to do that. So she wants a $500,000 bond. She also has the right to seek removal of the video from online platforms. And they say, we're not aware of any efforts she's made. Well, you don't have to be. What did you do? So, yes, if the court were to order this, Pxie is fucked. That's way too much for her to post, and she would get toasted from there. So, yeah, he's on the nosedive because, yeah, I'm sure he's on the nosedive because he's in trouble. Like none of this is a good look. Doing like leaking nudes and doing all that shit when you're like, people are like, wow, that's fucked up. I don't like that. That's why you're losing people. The judge isn't falling for this. I don't know what's there to fall for. Like, are you saying losing the $300,000? Okay, I buy that. The judge might be like, yeah, I'm not buying this. But up here, I think that's a very fair argument. I've done everything you're supposed to do. Your TRO's garbage. But no, the $500,000 bond, he would kill that before he put that in place. So, didn't he leak his Nick Fuentes sex tape too? Yeah, but Destiny seems to be like, he's kind of like, yeah, whatever. I sucked his dick, whatever. He's kind of like, he's just kind of rolling with the punches on that one. Talking about the 300,000. Yeah, I'm sure he's lost a lot of money, but I don't think it's because of the false allegations. It's because he did some shitty fucking stuff and people don't like it. He touched Tom's turkey. Yeah, that's not a good one too. That's the argument. Destiny or Pxie would be like, he ate Nick Fuentes' goo. This could be the goo eater defense. So that is what Destiny filed there. He did file an affidavit. And I do think this one's interesting because it does explain what he's done so far. As we talked about at the beginning, you have to verify like I'm 18 years of age. I have personal knowledge of stuff here. Now, some of the basic stuff we're not worried about, but I have personal knowledge. I'm 18 years of age or older. And talks about Pxie. I met Pxie online. We debated each other, blah, 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 blah. We get through all of this. We get through all the things that happen here. We're not worried about these parts. The early 2022 part is where it starts. He says, I was contacted by somebody named Rose. Rose and I maintained a friendship through 2023. During our friendship, we shared messages and content with each other, including the video that Pxie and I made together. I never identified Pxie by a legal name, screen name, or otherwise in my communications. Likewise, Rose never identified Pxie by name or otherwise. And he says, I have not sent the video to anyone other than Rose. And once again, reading this, I think this is Destiny's plan, is saying Pxie's only entitled to nominal damages. I don't think that's going to sit well with anybody. But it's an interesting gambit to run. So, yes, his lawyers wrote the affidavit. And guys, I don't think anytime you see these, the lawyers write that. But this is his affidavit. He is personally saying, yes, I agree with this statement. I did it. So maybe that's his gambit here. I still don't know if that's the best one to do. But hey, whatever. Like, if you really want to do this, like, I guess. Oh, there's a Lainey Howell. Can you guys hear that? Oh no, she's howling for 2.0. She misses her. I have certainly not sent the video to anyone else since I sent the video to Rose on April 9th, 2022. Now you might say, wait. Earlier they talked about April 10th. Remember, if Rose is in Europe, it's going to be hours ahead. Europe is at minimum 5 hours ahead. Britain's 5 hours ahead. But other parts of Europe could be 6-7 hours ahead. So very easily, this could be the 10th in Europe. Remember, they're alleging whoever gave Pxie that screenshot was in Europe. So That's why that would make sense. They say attached as Exhibit C is a true and copy correct in my Discord exchange with Rose, dated April 9th, beginning at 8:06. On page 2, because it is a screenshot from Rose's side of conversation, when they talk about the day of the transmission is in European format, the timestamps reflect Rose's corresponding for the time zone 5 hours ahead of me in Miami, where it was April 10th. And like I said, I know you guys were wondering, well, how does that work? He explains it here, but remember, it's just a couple hours ahead. Since April 9th, 2022, I've not shared or otherwise transmitted the video to any other third party and will not do so. Okay, I'm calling bullshit on that. I don't know why you would. I don't know that. That is such a dangerous statement to make. I don't know why you would do it. I don't know why you would do that. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine why you would say this. I can't imagine why you would say this one. I just don't know. I don't know why you would say that, because that's you got to be very careful. Got to be very careful with that one, because that's because I mean, like, he must know for sure, because if Pxie can show, maybe that's what they're hoping for. They have hold on, chat. I'm going to save that for Thursday. The Menendez brothers getting resentenced. We'll cover that Thursday night. Hold on here. Hey, stop it, Louis. These guys are like just being all tardo. So he admits he has the video. Well, there's never been any denial he had the video. There's never been any denial he had the video. So, but I just think that number 10 is just, I don't know why you would say that. I don't know why you would say that unless you're for sure. That's just a very risky statement to make. Now, obviously, yes, Chet, his attorney said it, but still, that's a very, like, they must have already gone through everything. I'm assuming if he can afford all these attorneys, they basically forensically went through whatever they could to prove that he only sent it to her. Okay. But I wouldn't have believed, like, if he hadn't done that yet, I wouldn't believe any of that. You only gave it away once. How many times did you give it away before that day? Pxie falsely claimed that at least 15 witnesses have contacted her. I didn't know, when I shared the video with them, I did no such thing. Indeed, in support of her motion. Now this is where I don't know why you would have your client say all this shit. You should put it in your own motion. This shouldn't be in their affidavit. This just seems kind of this. I don't think this is advisable to do it this way. Despite boasting about how much evidence she has, there's only one declaration from Hannah Brook. Despite that she used the same term, the statements have nothing to do with the actual video in the center of the dispute. The video to which she refers to in her declaration is an unrelated video featuring me and another friend that has nothing to do with the plaintiff or her claims against me. So when he talks about when I woke up, I learned I was the victim of revenge pornography. Yeah, okay. When a great deal of my personal correspondence was published without my permission or consent to a website called Kiwi Farms. The Kiwi Farmers! God damn you, Josh Moon! Once again, like, you're I don't feel fucking sorry for you. Imagine what had happened if you hadn't fucking done all this shit. You're like, oh no, the consequences of my actions. You protect this shit. I don't know the identity of the person who leaked the unlawfully published content, but I suspect it was someone with access, whether lawfully or not, to Rose's Discord chats with me, which is Destiny's also way of arguing Rose should be brought in. Now, if they're making that argument, the only thing I have a question about with this is, and this is where I have a problem, when you think another party needs to be involved, you would make an argument for joinder of a necessary party. If you think another party necessarily needs to be joined, you've got to make that pretty you've got to make that pretty clear. And you've got to do it soon. In this situation, though, you've already known that this Rose is out there. Why aren't you demanding she be joined as a necessary party? Because if you think she did it wrong and Rose did you wrong and everything, hold on, guys. God, they're like fucking kids fighting. I'm glad they're bonding, but Jesus, I'm trying to like do this and I'm running into me everywhere. Yes, it's kind of like what Russell Greer should be forced to do. He has to bring in Google. I just don't know why, if you're going to do this and you're making this argument here, I don't know why they're doing it in J-Rock. You might know this. Why are they doing it in Destiny's affidavit instead of arguing this shit in their motion? That would make far more sense. I don't know why they did it like this. I don't think you have, like, this is just, there's better ways I think you can make this. Once again, what do I know? I'm a penny lawyer. And they say among the materials that were unlawfully published were that video. The same day Pxie contacted me about the leak. She made it clear she didn't want to be identified. We already went over that. In or about the first week, I retained specialized legal counsel with expertise in revenge porn to assist me with having my content removed from the internet. Thereafter, I communicated about the efforts. I provided Pxie with updates on my progress with respect to removal efforts by my attorneys. They also had the ability to seek removal from the websites. However, I'm not aware of any efforts she made to have the video removed from any website, including Kiwi Farms. Now, this one here, I'm okay with that. That part makes sense. But this other part up here, it's just like, I don't know. Like, if you're making the argument here, then, demand that Rose be included as a necessary party. But, like, why would your client... I feel like it's unnecessary if you're not going to bring that up as an option or a motion you want done. Maybe that motion's coming. Who knows? Maybe they're waiting to see if they can survive the TRO and the motion to dismiss. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know there. I don't know. Deviate saying, wait, Rose is in Europe? Yes, allegedly. Good luck getting her attached. Well, that's a separate matter. Getting her joined is a separate matter. The point is, if you know there's a third party out there, you're supposed to go, hey, judge, Pxie's case doesn't work because you didn't get this guy over here in. You need to like grab them and bring them into the case. And we're demanding they get attached. We're demanding joinder. We're demanding joinder of parties. You need to do that. Like it's you have to do that. But you can't just sit around and fuck off. There's also the idea that there's joinder, there's also what's called impleader as well. Like go out and fucking get these people. Especially in Destiny's case. You would have, this is once again, guys, this is stuff. If you're making these arguments, you knew about Rose when you filed your answer. Why didn't you file demanding, like, we need to implead a necessary party right now? They didn't do it. And once again, like I said, maybe they have maybe they have some sort of like 8D underwater intergalactic chess pat like strategy they're working. I just don't understand it. Like, if you know there's parties in play, get everything. You get all the issues out there. This isn't like fucking euchre where you might hold on to the, or you're playing spades where you got the Bowers and you fucking hold on to them until it's time to start throwing them down. No, like you start throwing fucking, like, that's not how court works. In court, if court's like a game of spades, the way court works, you start fucking throwing your spades out there and fucking running the table. You clean fucking house. There is no slow play in court. You fucking have to get shit rolling. So I don't know why they're doing this. And Jared brings up a great point. The affidavits are for facts, not speculation. Well, that's also a good point. I don't know what she's done. Doesn't fucking matter it doesn't matter what she know or didn't do. Your attorney put that in the motion. That's all that matters. You commenting on it is not relevant to the case. 2.0 says, hello. Hi, 2.0. Hope you're doing well, baby. Congrats at winning the Elvis trivia on the cruise. Oh, it's amazing. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So, let me see here. Spades is fun, yes. Spades is very fun. Unlike Law Student says, I needed the Civ Pro stuff last week. Here's the funny thing. I sucked at Civ Pro in class. But once you start doing it and doing attorney shit, you really get the Civ Pro rules down pretty good. So that's the funny part about it. And I'm not even a Civ Pro guru, and I'm just like, the basics. So like I said, there's some stuff here like, then implead these fuckers. Like, what are you doing? But they talk about on December her turns toward hostile. Well, yeah. Okay, that's fine. Like she's 100% allowed to have a hostile opinion of you. They're allowed to. You're not, there's no, oh, it's okay. And then all of a sudden changing your mind saying, fuck you. You're allowed to have that. You're not barred from having a change in emotions. Now, can he argue that changes her motives? Yeah. Yeah. Hey, stop. Louis, sit. There you go. Relax, guys. I can't tell if Clyde's playing or not. It's hard to tell. I then contacted a mutual friend to see if there was anything I could do to help. After speaking, this is Kira Kyla, not so erudite. I don't know, the fucking chick who's got like the always wet hair. Advised me that I should offer the plaintiff money. Yeah, and she basically was being a snake for destiny. In a message that plaintiff has since deleted at 2:13 on December 12th, and that is a spoliation. Notice we're trying to bring that up. She deleted it. I feel like whatever I asked you to cover will be too high a price. Okay, well that's her saying whatever I ask of you, you won't be able to meet. Okay, that's not really that's not a statement that affects her interest. The fact she deleted it could be, but also you notice she can get it back. Have you requested documents? I don't know. Did you, Destiny? Like that? Because remember, all those rules go two ways. Then it talks about I received a document for the preservation letter, a follow-up letter saying $15 million in damages. Based on the federal lawsuit, she threatened to sue, even if she was successful. Her damages are capped at 150 Gs. Okay, but you're now arguing. Well, I don't know how the demand letter was set, but depending on how the letter is set, those negotiations can be protected by the rules. And you disclosing shit is not always necessarily depending on what happened there. But I don't think I'm not impressed with both sides' attorneys right now. So there you go. I believe these demand was outrageous, absurd, and unlawful. Is it unlawful? Is it unlawful? It's not unlawful. It's just you don't like it. Because you can settle for whatever amount you want. You could have settled for $100 million. That doesn't make it unlawful. You just may not. It could be absurd and outrageous, but not necessarily unlawful. So, but yes, whining about what you feel is not. Oh, sorry, chat. Whining about what you feel does not make this. Whining about this, I don't know. Like it's just. They're just fucking around behind me. Okay, I just don't understand this. I just don't understand it. Oh, hold on. Hey, hold on. All right, hold on, Chad. I gotta sort them out for a minute. Sorry, chat. Had to close the door. So, had to get them sorted out. Danielle says Destiny lowballed her at 40K, which, you know what? When they come in that high, come in low. I mean, that's how negotiations work. When they come in, if somebody comes in retardedly high, let's say, fuck you, here's $20. I mean, if they weren't going to settle for anything less, then yeah. I mean, sometimes you're stuck with what you have, and if they're making a demand you think is unreasonable, then don't settle. Offer what you think is fair and call it good. And maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, but you're taking the risk that you're right. I'm sure Destiny thought he was making the risk that he thought he was right, or is he so cocksure of himself that he doesn't care he can make it happen? I don't know. Was $15 million a lie? Yeah. Maybe he could have settled for a couple $100,000. Who knows? But he didn't want to do it. So, Lucky Lime saying, what are affidavits used for? Affidavits are to list out factual information because he has personal knowledge of things. An affidavit might say, here's what I did, here's what I didn't do. This all here is just fucking editorialization and commentary, which I understand why they're doing it. So, upon receipt of the initial demand, I took steps to preserve all documents and correspondence. Specifically with respect to the messages transmitted via Discord, I use a program called Discord Log Exporter to export all relevant files into an HTML. Now, here's the thing. Now this becomes an issue of you use this. Okay, well, now it becomes, well, how good is Discord Log Exporter? I'm presuming he didn't write that, but now it becomes a discussion of, well, what did you use and how did you use it? How does it work? Is it reliable? Did it protect the messages? So he says, contrary to the allegations, I've not permanently deleted or destroyed any evidence. All my efforts to remove the unauthorized published content were made to protect not only my privacy, but also hers. I undertook these efforts only after I took adequate steps to preserve all the evidence, as I was demanded to do. To date, I have not been requested to produce any documents. And that part's true. I haven't been told to turn over shit. Which, once again, that is a surprise they haven't done that yet. You're like, well, you know, I get they already have all the stuff, but like you have to get his shit still too. Now this then turns into like, what? This is all just fucking ridiculous. Why are you fucking belly aching in an affidavit? Like, why are your attorneys letting you do this? Notwithstanding my compliance, the attorneys falsely accused me of systematically deleting, I almost said systemically, and just deleting evidence. Ironically, it is you! Once again, Destiny channeling Ethan Ralph, who has engaged in spoliation. They deleted the response she sent me at 2:13 a.m. Well, I mean, can it be resolved? I mean, did she permanently delete it? Less than 1 week after she deleted the message, I received the letters saying I would get a lawsuit. Geez, that went down the wrong pipe. Wow. Although it's funny, she says it would be too high a price, and then it turns out she asked too high a price. You're like... You're like, well, that actually did happen. You asked too high of a price. So... Sorry, that oh god, I almost choked on that. That's what she said. Yes, this is why hookers are cheaper. They leave. Hookers are cheaper. Now, this whole thing here, when I feel, by that point, as a result of leaks and damage the plaintiff made against me, as a result of the leaks, that's not her fault. Notice, now you're imputing this as a result of the leaks, you really should have put a comma there. The leaks from the hacker, the leaks from the ne'er-do-well. Because when you read this, it's as a result of leaks and the public allegations that plaintiff has made against me. You're almost implying Pxie is the one who did the leaking. All right, chat. Hold on here. I gotta go. Hold on. Sorry, chat. We gotta keep the puppers out for a minute. They're just being spazzy. But yes, commas are your friends, and this is where it's like, are you really? I mean, I get what you're saying here, but be fucking on point with your language, counsel. Because you're saying that the result of the leaks, yeah, the leaks were really bad for you, because everybody thought, wow, you're a fucking scumbag. Your reputation has been damaged. Yeah, because you share naked pictures of people. Especially in the streaming community. Yeah, that tends to happen. I've been subjected to endless criticism online. Yes, as you should. Nobody's going to sit here and say, yes, queen. Like, come on, man. To date, I have lost tens of thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands of subs. Oh, that sounds speculative. And an estimated 300,000 in revenue, speculative. Like, no, that's not how you do this. You don't suffer destiny. Like, you don't get to sit there and do this. Yes, suffer. Suffer. I mean, this is like, what did you expect to happen? People have routinely commented on the shit you've done that has been really shitty and awful. Eventually, enough people are going to say, yeah, this is bad, brother. Like, that's what you get. So, in addition to all the false rumors, she talks about Substack. She falsely accused me of distributing the pornographic content. You did. You did give it to Rose. You intentionally distributed it. And that using a proxy to widely distribute that content. Well, I don't know. Sounds like that could be proven or disproven. She falsely accused me of masterminding the leak for promotional purposes. I don't know if she's got proof of that. This is all speculative. Nothing can be farther from the truth. In reality, I was a primary target. Yeah. The content was disseminated by individuals on a forum known for its explicit hostility towards me. Well, there's a lot of people explicitly hostile towards you. With the user expressing a coordinated intent to damage my career and personal life. Well, I mean, because you're kind of a shitty human being, man. You know, the false accusations not only mischaracterize the events. Well, okay, pot calling the kettle black here. But also amplify the spread of the leaks. Okay. In the Substack post, she said she's planning to file a lawsuit. I'll be suing Destiny. Here's my story. She drew attention online and caused innumerable people to go to the Kiwi Farms website. Was she not supposed to say anything at all? The owner and operator of the farms, the handle @null, is aware of this lawsuit. These are true and correct copies of the post the owners published acknowledging the lawsuit and the claims the plaintiff is alleged. Her friend, Miss Hayden, Lauren De Laguna, somebody who was in Destiny's orbit for a while, created the Give, Send, Go to raise money for the medical treatment for alleged trauma, but not to cover legal fees in her lawsuit against me. So she's apparently raised 50 G's out of 130. She increased it after she met her original goal of 25,000 because that ain't going to get you far. So she's posted numerous messages online, including on X. about me, my attorneys, and the allegations. Okay, well, she's allowed to comment on the suit. I mean, remember, this is the same guy who had a fucking schizo manifesto. Remember, Destiny, you did a whole fucking like 2-hour stream with your schizo rant, and you're like, oh, that's not fair. It's like, well, I mean, okay. My goal here is not to publicly humiliate him. Okay. Or even all the money in the world. Okay. It's him receiving a financial penalty. He will learn his lesson. That's not a problem. You're allowed to make that statement that she wants you to suffer. That's a very valid cause. It's a very valid reason. So, if you're really worried, you could have got a protective order, but you didn't get one in the meantime. And those are very easy to get in these types of cases. You could have sought a protection order, which they grant very routinely. So let me see here. Yeah, point of information, Noel's not removing shit. Well, yeah. To be fair, everybody involved is kind of a shitty human being. Yeah, they are. I'm just saying, like, Destiny's like, Destiny, he can't go around and act like he's the man without stain. Like, I's the most righteous man in the world. Like, but you ain't. Nope, like, don't go around claiming you are. Although public comments have led to more interest in the video, including some of her posts, including your motion papers. And this is, once again, why is he making legal arguments? Why is he making legal arguments? This is where your attorney should have, like, filing under seal. Why didn't you do that? Like, this has already been stated. To date, I've lost over 300 Gs in streaming platform. Well, that's all speculative. And number two, okay. To the extent there's an injunction against me and I can't defend myself online, I will lose more revenue. In addition, out-of-pocket costs and fees I will be forced to incur in connection with attempted compliance. To that end, she should be required. And once again, why are you posting all this in your affidavit? This is just why. Your attorney already did this. You don't have to attest to all this. I don't understand this. Why would you do this? Okay? I don't know. Why would you do this? Why would you put this in here? You don't have to have this in here. None of this is this is not required like this. You demanding these things are not required by you. I don't know why his attorney made him do this. Guys, this was Destiny signed it, but his attorney wrote it. I don't know why his attorney wrote this like that. I don't see why this helps at all. I don't see why this helps at all. I don't. Yeah, I'm just saying. So now this is an actual good affidavit or declaration. This is Andrew Bretler. This is one of Destiny's attorneys. And this is why it's weird. This is where you should be saying all the shit that's necessary. I'm an attorney admitted pro hoc in this case. And we represent Stephen K. Bonnell II. That is Destiny. That's his real name. That's his government name. And it says we talked about the April 3rd, there was the TRO, an injunction. On April 4th, the judge at a status conference, and there was a transcript of the hearing. And he said because his case had been pending, there was no exigent circumstances. Perfect, correct. This is who needs to talk about it. At that same hearing, he talked about, well, this isn't the appropriate vehicle for addressing the relief regarding spoliation. And that's true. It's Rule 37. And he says, the order seeking requires the defendant do nothing more than he's already required to do. And he says, at the hearing, we advised we hadn't destroyed evidence. There's no basis to claim the evidence destroyed. She has no idea what documents are maintained in his custody, possession, or control. And that's because she hasn't asked for anything. If she asked for anything, give me all documents, she would get what she needs. And she could find out, but she hasn't done that yet. So that is and this is where the people make the points, like having Destiny lay all that shit out seems really retarded to me. During the telephonic conference with plaintiff's Pxie's counsel, I informed them of the steps Destiny took in order to preserve evidence. Okay. And then I declared her penalty of perjury. The foregoing is true and correct. And yeah, I mean, like, we're not going to read the transcript here, guys. We don't need that. Like, we don't have to go to that point. We don't have to get to that. We don't have to get there. Now, from here, a couple days ago, remember, now we're caught up. That was April 25th. Now we're into May 2nd. Pxie's attorneys filed their own motions. Okay. So they filed a response to this. And this goes back and forth. There's a little bit of ping-ponging here. But it's important because we then see they file a motion in response. Okay. They file a reply. Okay. There is also, hold on here. What am I looking at here, chat? Hold on. Why am I... Hold on here. Why am I... Hold on. I'm just looking. I get all... These are the biggest things here. Destiny also raised some evidentiary objections to the declarations, but I'm like, I don't think you guys are as interested in those, and I may go over them at a later date because I do think it's a very good evidentiary issue. But for now, we'll just go over this real quick because this kind of catches us up, and we'll show what happened in response to everything. But also already, I'm sure this is so weirdly done so far. You know, like I said, this is just like, I'm not going to sit here and laugh at these guys. Like, I'm sure they're very competent attorneys, and I'm sure they have a reason why they're doing everything. I just don't understand it. Like I said, I could be a big old retard. Sure, I probably am. And I'm sure Destiny listens to be like, well, good, she is a retard. Well, okay. But anyways, this is Jane Doe. This is Pxie's reply to the opposition. Remember, you have a motion, a response, and then a reply. That's generally how you do this. Not like Russell Greer, where you go back and forth 55 times. You have you send it out, they send it back, and then you get to answer and reply once more. And that's it. So they basically come through this. They have objections to defendant's statement of facts and exhibits. We're not really going to worry about that right now. We'll talk about the issues about the subject matter jurisdiction here. And it's an interesting arguments they make. And I still don't know these arguments here. We'll get to them. I don't like them. I don't like these. I don't like the stuff they point here. I don't like the point they get to here. But like, we need to talk about the subject matter jurisdiction because I know a lot of you guys sitting there thinking, well, shit, that seems like a pretty good argument Destiny's attorneys made. And it is. But what do they do here? So obviously they're going to say, that's not true. You know, they're saying they're misleading. And these are a misstatement of facts. And this is where it gets kind of gay. Defendant's purported statement of facts is more accurately entitled a misstatement of facts. Like, cringe and a half. These guys should be sanctioned for being gay. That is so cringe to do that. Just say they're full of shit and move on. It's so much easier. It's so more succinct. Yeah. J-Rock says, I'd argue it's continuing because it's still being published. He's done all he can. If it's out there, it's out there. It's never, the internet's forever. That's the thing, though. Like, the internet's forever, so it's never going to go away. I don't think you'd sit there and be able to argue the harm is forever. So, I mean, at that point, it doesn't, like, I think he's done what he can to alleviate the problems that he caused ultimately. So, Ying Yang Dynasty says, I'm so used to seeing Greer's plights, I forgot what actual lawyering looked like. Yeah. There's that too. Where can I find these vids asking for a friend? You can find them on the farms. J-Rock says, why it's an argument, why not with these retards? Because I don't think that's a fair argument to make. I think at some point, like arguing the internet's forever, that's arguing infinite harm and unlimited damages, which is against the ideas we have in a legal situation. So, I mean, yes, I will say, despite all of that, they point out here, the only issue, it's an uncontested fact he shared the video without her consent. The only contested issue is the date which occurred. And that's true. This is the heart of the matter here. Destiny's already agreed to it. It's very important here. And they asked for things to be stricken, though. That she offered to send Destiny and did send him videos of other parties. And it says Destiny is fully aware the videos that were sent to him were only of herself and one person, her boyfriend. He had consented to the sharing. And that was part of the issue with that. Like when Pxie made that comment, it was very clear. It looked like she had to get permission first. But once again, this is Destiny trying to use the argument of, well, she's a hoe, which not always the best argument to try to make here. They're arguing it's irrelevant and prejudicial. Yeah, I think this is all. The judge isn't going to strike. Like the judge has already read it, so it's not going to be stricken. So I don't know why you would do all this at this point. It's already out there. This is where they needed. This is where they got to do the work anyway. So this is where they should be doing it. Now, the subject matter jurisdiction. What's their argument? It's actually. You guys take I'm going to read it to you. I've already read it. You tell me what you think first. What does it have to do with anything? It's their way of saying we wanted to clear the record up, and Destiny, they pulled to my cousin Vinny and said everything Destiny said was bullshit. So that's why they did that. So, but I'm gonna read this and I want to see what you guys think, because it's so they point out that the claim is that it was shared prior to the effective date of the statute, thus there's no subject matter jurisdiction. This argument fails because defendants shared the video with another woman with the screen name Abby MC in 2023 after the statute's effective date. See Exhibit 2, Declaration of Abby MC. Now, this is where did they find more information since they filed their complaint? Because notice, that was not part of the complaint, right? That becomes an issue. How did you do this? How did you do this? Well, interesting, isn't it? Interesting. Exhibit 2. Because is this them running around doing detective work? It could be, because remember, we didn't have any information on this at the time. Now, what is Exhibit 2? Exhibit 2, very helpfully titled Exhibit 2. Just in case you weren't sure. Now, this is the Abby MC. Now, notice this is where they actually kind of did something smart. This has all been redacted. They're seeking to file this under seal, which that is what you have to do. You have to file things under seal here, which there is a motion to leave to file things under seal here. You're seeking to file under seal by Jane Doe, and they filed a bunch of attachments here. So they have declarant number 1, the statement of JSP, declarant number 3, declarant number 2. They have a couple things are here. They have other declarations. They're seeking to do things quietly. They're trying to shield things. Okay. So what does Abby MC say? I have personal knowledge. I first connected with Destiny on Instagram in March of 2023. Okay. So you saw Destiny in 2023. I became a follower on his Discord. He flew me to Miami to meet in person. I stayed at his residence in Miami for 2 nights. Translation, they done fucked. They got a little going on. Destiny shared through a Google Drive link, which, holy shit, if that still exists. If that still exists, which I kind of get the feeling maybe it did. Because remember how, Destiny said, I've never shared it with anybody? Are you sure? Are you sure in all your goon sessions that you didn't accidentally do something? Like, how many other ways could you have shared? There's a million ways you could share shit. It'd be hilarious if that Google Drive link was still up and that was like saved and archived. Like, whoa, buddy. Oh. And we're gonna get to J Rock. I saw your comment, and we're gonna bring that up. I recognized Pxie because I'd seen her post on Instagram and I'd seen her on live streams. Her face and hair is visible in the video. That's how I recognized her. In November, I messaged a friend of mine and told him that Destiny had sent me the above video of him and another woman, and then I had recognized the woman as a streamer Pxie. I also told my friend that Destiny had sent me another video of him and another woman. I recognized the streamer with the screen name Cherry. So I was able to recognize the Cherry by her voice since the video was a black screen with audio of their sexual interactions. Throughout my relationship with Destiny, he repeatedly shared me sexually explicit videos of himself and other women through the shared Google Drive links. I now realize these women most likely never consented. I recently reviewed my Discord account and realized Destiny deleted all of his direct messages to me on the Discord platform, including the sharing of the video with Pxie. I retained copies of all my messages to Destiny, as well as my messages to other people about his non-consensual sharing of explicit videos. Ooh. Like I said, chat, read ahead. It's very interesting. The TRO is going to fail, but there's some other stuff out there. I don't want to have my identity revealed since I've recently discovered he shared videos of himself and me without my consent, just like he did to Pxie and other women. So this is done. This is filed under seal, meaning if you didn't have this here, you would find out where this has been signed, and you would figure out who signed it. Ooh, buddy. Whoa. I don't know. Aman Rezu says it still exists because Destiny said he never deleted anything. Not true. He deleted nothing involving Pxie. Maybe he deleted this one. If it exists. Maybe it doesn't exist. Maybe this woman's lying. Maybe this is all bullshit. Possibly. But let's say it's true. Destiny could have deleted all that. And it's like, that wasn't part of the lawsuit. Actually, Pretty much. He could do it that way. If any of this is true, buddy. Oh. Now, the big thing here, these are new facts, chat. This is something new. I don't recall seeing Abby MC in the other thing. I don't recall that in the complaint. And we're going to pull up the complaint real quick because I checked earlier and I didn't see it. And I think there is a problem here with how you present things, and I'm sure this is a bit of an issue here. Yeah, and I double-checked it once, I double-checked again. There is no link or information regarding Abby MC in the complaint. And they did not amend their complaint. I've not seen an amended complaint yet, and it's too late to amend it on your own. Now, can they go ahead and seek leave to amend? Yes. But they haven't done it yet. So, bit of an issue there. It's a bit of an issue because now you're introducing facts that are not part of the complaint. Now, you could seek leave to amend a file because you have facts and you need the complaint to conform to the facts. But they haven't done that yet. I haven't seen that yet. And J-Rock, who practices in the 11th Circuit, brings up a great point. The 11th Circuit, well, mainly most federal courts, aren't big fans of new facts being introduced with prior amendment of the pleadings, which is a problem. This is nowhere new. This can be a problem. J-Rock says, I ran into that problem once on a motion for summary judgment. So... Needs to access. If I couldn't see Sean on the stream, I think he had Destiny doing his own voice. What? I'm confused. Yeah, they should move to amend. They have to move to amend. So like I said, guys, there's some big information in this case. It's just the injunction's going to fail. But there's some big information if they have it. They need to fix their shit. So they apparently believe they can survive the subject matter jurisdiction charge or the claim, which is cool. They survive. They fight another day. If this is a fact that they can survive, they now have to prove it. And if they can prove it, then they survive and they're still in federal court. They're still in the game. Now they go through all this. They claim, they go through the rest of this here, the likelihood of success on the state law claims. We're not worried about that. That's the big thing here. And that's something, I don't know what you guys think, but I think that's something pretty good. Now, here's the point of the disclosure of the private facts. The evidence shows not only did he share it with at least 2 women, but when he shared it, it was on a live Google Drive link. That's still that's a new fact too. Not only do we have Abby, but at least 2 women. So we have 2 women now and a Google Drive. That's not in the complaint. You have to add that stuff in. You have to add stuff in. It's not yeah. Yeah, this fax gets them subject matter jurisdiction. It does. With those 2 things, they survive. They live to fight another day. They've got to deal with the discovery, and they're going to have to fight through factual claims. But yes, if this Abby thing is true, they win. They'll survive at least a motion to dismiss. Because remember, guys, the court's going to presume, all the facts in the most favorable light to the non-moving party. So they're going to take everything Pxie says is true. They survive. And if this really is out there, Destiny's fucked in that regard because they're stuck in federal court. The court will grant them leave, but they haven't done it yet. And that's the thing, guys, here. Look, if you go to this, nothing has been done yet, and this should have been done right away. There's no motion for leave to amend. Because when you search for amend, there's only 3 spots. There's an amended certificate of conferral. There's motion to leave to file for declarations under seal. Okay. Plaintiff's notice of amended evidentiary objections. Okay. And then that's it. That's it. That's it. So without that, without an amended complaint, the motion to dismiss, Pxie loses. Pxie loses without that fact. Pxie's going to lose. She has to get that fact in, and J-Rock, I think you would agree. Nothing's happened. Why haven't they filed for this? As soon as they found out about this fucking Abby MC chick, they obviously found out about her prior to all this happening. Why haven't you all this time? You didn't do anything about it. There's some weird fucking lawyering going on. I just don't understand why they didn't introduce, why didn't they go back and amend? They haven't done it. You've got to go back and amend. But isn't this done as a response to Destiny saying I never shared the video with anyone else? So should they have been amended the complaint before responding? I think you should. Because, great. Haha, we caught Destiny. That's, once again, guys, this is not how you do this. This isn't you're waiting. Oh, he did it. I'm going to throw a spade out on the deck. Throw a spade out on the table. No, in court, you don't slow play like that. You move. Okay? Now, sometimes there might be some tactical considerations, but generally speaking, in court, you move fast and you move assuredly and hard. It's about the controlled violence of action. You move, you make your moves. When you have new facts, they're devastating. And Destiny's attorneys are screaming about subject matter jurisdiction. Fine, here, read this, cocksucker. That's how you handle this. You immediately nip that shit in the bud. I want to amend my complaint, Judge. Here's my reason, new discovered evidence, and you go. You don't do all this shit and then say, oh, later, judge, can I amend the file? That's not how you do it. You have to keep you have to keep fixing things. That's why the way Destiny did this. Why didn't you address subject matter immediately? Yeah, big arrows. This is a big arrow moment. This isn't like you do a little poke, a little poke, a little poke. No, this is big, Operation Bagration time. This is like Pat moving across France time. Sweep on into the Ruhr Valley. You've got to make your move. Move assuredly. And J-Rock says, yeah, because these guys are fucking it up. Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah, and that's the thing. Courts don't look outside the pleadings on a motion to dismiss. That's why they have to get it in. And if they don't, they're in trouble. And yes, introducing all this, they'll treat it as a summary judgment motion if the court starts considering extra evidence. Yeah. Which Destiny's already admitted to sharing it. And Destiny can't afford that. Because if he does this, he's already admitted, yes, I shared it. That's a problem. So he doesn't want to go to summary judgment because the court could say, yeah, looking at all this Destiny, I find you liable. Pay up, motherfucker. You don't want that if you're Destiny. So they need to. Yeah, this is not how this should be done. So. Or Sherman's march to the South. Yeah. J-Rock says he hired a fancy California lawyer, though. Yeah, but Pxie hired some douchebag Florida lawyer. Pxie hired guys who work in Florida, and they're not doing any better. Both attorneys have kind of dropped the ball here. I don't understand. Like I said, I'm not claiming to be F. Lee Bailey. But I could go grab a couple attorneys off the street here in Ohio, and they'd say, that's not how I'd fucking do it. I go grab some other penny lawyers. Or I happen to know attorneys who are, 25, 30 years in. Maybe they're quarter lawyers. Maybe they have a lot of pennies worth of information. I just don't know why. I just don't know why they did it. So, I mean, AS says he's hired Me Too lawyers. Yes, but I've looked at some of the other stuff they've done. Brettler's very fucking good. He's very effective. He's very effective at what he does. He's a very good, he's a good attorney. So, I just don't understand it. This is why I don't understand Destiny introducing excessive evidence against himself. Well, yeah, that is the reason why when Destiny's response wasn't just, nuh-uh, motion to dismiss, fuck you, get out of here, done, boom, bye. They probably would have won because I doubt they had this Abby information at the time. I don't know why they didn't fucking do that. It still blows my mind. I don't know why. And this is piss poor federal pleading and motion practice. Yeah, if I'm the judge, I'm going to be the judge is probably sitting there. As long as the judge is halfway decent, he's like, what the fuck are we doing here? This is awful. This isn't pro se bad, but this is pretty shitty. This is pretty shitty lawyering. So let's get back to this. Let's get back to where they do their nuh-uh, we're still in this. So they talk about the intentional infliction of emotional distress claim is about his subsequent publication of her private messages, his ongoing harassment and belittlement and bullying, which I agree that definitely qualifies his ongoing conduct. Who just texted me? Is this 2.0? Who the hell is this? Who just sent me something here? Oh, I will take a look at this later, but thank you for sending those. It's not. Oh, guys, it's not cryptic. It's nothing serious. So and they talked about he admitted he uploaded his trove of intimate images onto Google Drive links and shared them with random followers. The Discord user with the name Solo Tiny Leaks, who published the video and other stated he obtained the videos from Bonnell's Google Drive link. I don't remember that, but I'm gonna have to go back through and see Solo Tiny Leaks comment on the farms. I don't remember seeing the Google Drive thing, but that's pretty fucking devastating. Moreover, there's evidence from another individual that he had shared through the Google Drive link. And because he used Google Drive links, those links remain live and accessible to anyone with the Discord account. Well, it's live to anybody who can get the fucking Google Drive link. In this case, the links remain live for 5 years, which is why Tiny could access them. Yeah. So the irreparable harm, and well, we'll see. I don't know if that will there. But ultimately, they've introduced facts. They need to survive this year. But I don't think I don't know. I don't think that counts as ongoing, though. This is not an ongoing thing. Ultimately, I don't think it's an ongoing issue. I think they sat on their hands for too long. Like I said, I think they were sitting there like they were accumulating cards, trump cards, getting ready to throw them down. No, you have to fucking play them when you get them. If you sit there and take too long, like you're playing Rummy Cube and you get all of them together and then you try to dump them all at once, the other guy might beat you to the punch. And I feel like Pxie's team was accumulating all the Rummy Cubes up and they weren't ready for it. You guys, anybody out there playing Rummy Cube? 2.0, I like to play that game. It's a fun game. Played that game a million times. Love it. It's a great game to play with kids, too. So, okay, sorry, guys. There you go. Sorry. There. You got the screen. Got the screen, chat. You got the screen. We pamped it. You got a pamp. I pamped it up for you. So, the Wasatch Jackalope. Hello. Hi. How are you? It's time consuming. It's not really that hard. But it's not hard to get it right. Yeah, it's not that bad. They have a rule and guide for everything. It's not hard if you're up on it. So, yeah. AS says, is Destiny cooked? If he put it on Google, yeah, he's fucked. Because he said he didn't put it up anywhere else. And also, Pxie probably survived summary judgment. Pxie survives a motion to dismiss. But she's not going to get her injunction. So, but like I said, guys, reading through this, there's a lot of issues here. Like I said, there's a lot more to it than just the injunction. They say though, this contention is directly contradicted by the fact the video is still accessible to multiple websites. Well, he can't do anything about it. The Farms is never going to fucking take it down, so that's not his fault. At some point, the damage is done. That he said he made efforts to remove the video, it's not supported by an iota of evidence. Despite submitting over 12 exhibits, nor did the declaration make any assertions or provide evidence. And they say the defendant's temerity suggests the onus should be on her to have it removed, stating he's not aware of any efforts that she made to have the video taken down. And that's yet another of his knowingly false statements. So she exchanged messages with Destiny asking to get it done. The onus for such action should be squarely on the perpetrator, not the victim. Well, when it depends on who's calling who, that's the issue. The plaintiff hired the undersigned counsel to attempt to get the video removed from the Farms and other websites. At her own expense, significant efforts were undertaken. Well, it ain't getting removed from the Farms, so you wasted fucking money. Moreover, the messages published by the defendant are still accessible on social media sites under his control and cause ongoing harm to the plaintiff. Well, which ones? Because that would help a lot to explain. So they go through this. They keep going here. And they're saying this constitutes irreparable injury. I still don't think so. And yes, the federal law provides that victims are entitled to an injunction. You still have to meet the elements of it, though. You're not just automatically like, boom, injunction, here you go. You still have to show, yeah. Now, here's the thing. He did respond to these arguments, and it's because they're incontrovertible. You still haven't met the argument, though, I think. I don't know why you sat on it for 30 fucking days. So the link can be accessed if you have Discord. Yeah, but it's a Google Drive link. I don't need Discord to access it. I can access it in a bunch of different ways. So Timmy says, I don't care about Cassie or Pxie or Destiny or Diddy. Well, a lot of people do, and it's an interesting story. It's an interesting situation to discuss about. So that's why we're doing it. You want to play Rummy Cube now? I haven't played that for a decade. Funny. Rummy Cube's a fun game. Or like Othello. 2.0 kicks my ass at that game when we play it. She's really fucking good. So instead, there's no evidence that Destiny shared the video on more than one occasion. No evidence that he intends to share the video again. And no evidence that he has been or will do anything to exacerbate the harm. They say, that's not true! The declaration of Abby proves that he shared it with at least one other person. The declaration of Brooks proves that Destiny's still showing the video. And Destiny continues to speak disparagingly about the plaintiff in a pursuit of justice on a regular basis. He's allowed to say she's lying and it's all made up. He is allowed to say she's wrong. Fuck her. He's allowed to do that. There's nothing wrong with saying all that. There's nothing wrong to do it that way. There's nothing wrong to J-Rock says, I'd like to think both lawyers are phoning it in. See, it's the same argument I said, Sean. I guess. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess at the end of the day, it does look like they're phoning it in, but I sat through this and read it, and I'm really fucking confused about how they're doing all of this. Like I said, there's some very good arguments out there, but then these guys do this dumb shit. So, now they point out that the court found irreparable harm warning relief precisely because the video remains visible. And that was in a case out of the Southern District of Florida. But notice, there isn't, we don't have any other information about how this case relates to it. How was the video remaining visible? What way? Because if they had said it was on a third-party website, then that would work. But he didn't include that, that's always a way, lawyers, you kind of dance around the facts in the other cases. So, the harm is not self-inflicted. I do agree to an extent there. And once again, you're allowed to go ahead and do things. You're allowed to go ahead and defend yourself. She had to defend herself from damage to her reputation. What reputation she had, nobody fucking really knew about her except in the Destiny orbit. Pxie had no choice but to start a fundraising campaign to finance his suit, who has substantial resources. And she said she promoted the video. Well, no, she doesn't. It just happens. After the posting, the website crashed as though the large number of viewers when it got posted on Kiwi Farms. And that's true. All the people went to fucking goon on Pxie fucking crashed the site. As posted by the Kiwi Farms administrator, and this is true, chat, the surge of traffic to Kiwi Farms related to Destiny's blowjob video, and that's a video of Destiny giving a blowjob, has caused a fatal database error and I'll need to do a rollback to a recent backup. But that's the one in that's the one with Destiny Nick Fuentes, among other people. Oh. So yeah. So they say these are only false statements. It shocks the conscience. You can almost say it's outrageous that Destiny, who intentionally repeatedly disseminated a video without her consent, could have the temerity to claim that her harm was largely self-inflicted because she tried to defend herself. And it says not only injunctive relief fully warranted, okay, fine, punitive damages will be necessary. That's once again, this doesn't fucking matter here. Fine, punitive damages, that's not up right now. Now, this is where also I find some cringe. I find the Pxie's attorneys guilty of being cringe and gay. His gaslighting and distortion of the facts. Like, okay. Well, that's nonsense. Now they point out, he says we haven't shared or transmitted the video. Well, they said that, November he did it, and in January he did it, which we don't know. We don't know, but we'll see. Still don't know how true that is. Now, the request for the spoliation issue, this is where I don't think this is the best argument they make. So they say plaintiff did not request an order of spoliation. The plaintiff requested the court order defendant to cease and desist from destroying evidence and compelling him to retrieve all messages he deleted and preserve all discoverable evidence. Which that is a spoliation order. You requested the court order Destiny to not engage in spoliation. So, or be at risk of an order for spoliation. Well, you're literally, that is what the thing is, though. Like I said, this is, I don't know. I don't really know how you do this. I don't know how you do this. But hey, whatever. You're literally requesting the court do the thing you're saying you don't want the court to do. Which, they should just take their L. They should be compelling production and then go about it the right way. This is a retarded argument to make. I also don't understand. Go through it. If he's still doing it, then file a proper injunction. This is still a shit injunction, and this isn't fixing it. The request is made for the purpose of ensuring evidence would not be destroyed, so plaintiff could avoid having to make a motion regarding spoliation. But he's already obligated not to do this, so the court's not going to say, do the thing you're supposed to do. That's already baked into the case. This still is garbage. This is still a garbage one. This is still bad. This is no-go. This is no bueno. Not good at all. The defendant should have no objection to the request because you're required by law to preserve evidence. So if he's already obligated, and you already admit he's obligated to do the thing already, the court never does that. The court never enforces an order or orders you to do something you already have an obligation to do. That's pointless. That's a waste of the court's time. If you violate it, you come back and then you deal with it. This is just so fucking dumb. This is fucking stupid the way they're making the argument here. They should have just take your dub. You survived subject matter jurisdiction. You caught Destiny in a lie. Go forward with it. Go forward. Yes, you are now manually breathing. Yes, make sure you breathe. Yes, Mike, you're right. This is billable hours reigning supreme right now. Yes, this I don't know what the fuck. Like, Your Honor, make them do the thing they're supposed to do already. Like, do you have proof they're not doing it? No. The reason was made clear from the evidence presented in the motion. Multiple individuals informed the plaintiff that Benella deleted all the messages he'd sent to them. That's an issue then for motion. You do your request for documents. Do your discovery. Oh, they have motion to compel. We don't have that. Bullshit. We have proof you do. Your Honor, Rule 37. We got discovery issues. We have sanctions. We have proof he's destroyed evidence. Judge might say, okay, I'll take under advisement, do a deposition. All right, and then they go through it, and then they find out, do they or don't they? But that's the process. You don't just go here screaming with your hair on fire. So, oh shit, now I'm thinking about breathing. What happened to Courtney Clenny? Her case has kind of been on hold. Some shit went down with that. With her and the parties involved. So they say, based on the pattern of evidence being deleted, a request is only logical and indeed necessary to prevent the risk of spoliation. If he does delete evidence and it's all gone and he can't bring it back, you get sanctions. Then you can also get an adverse inference. Remember, the jury could then be told, hey, he had something, he deleted it, it's gone. You're allowed to presume that evidence would have been utterly devastating to Destiny's cause. Pxie would have been able to use it and score a home run with it. And therefore, you can bend him over on those facts alone. That's how you do this. You don't just get to go in and do it like this. This is just garbage. This is garbage. And here, the defendant claims his declaration is preserved evidence, but only asserts without elaboration that he used Discord log exporter. That's why you do your request for production of documents. Go engage in discovery. This is the discovery process. You did that. Can we see a copy of that program? Who wrote this program? Do you know? Is it good? Does it forensically archive things? Is it do it in any way we can rely on it for court? You have to do something with it. And this is where, when I read through this first time, I'm like, these guys are not fucking doing their job on both sides. This is just fucking retarded. This is just fucking retarded. Needs an addict to screen my hair on fire is my favorite strategy. Next to that's not true. Maybe. I just, like I said, guys, I read through this earlier and I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? So anyways, they say no mention is made of preserving the evidence on other social media platforms. Request for discovery. Get your documents. Demand him produce things. Why aren't you doing that? Moreover, Discord log is a third-party app not verified or approved by Discord. Oh, how do you know that? Did you talk to Discord? Did you subpoena Discord? Have you deposed Discord? Maybe Discord needs to be brought in as a party too. Who knows? But right now, you haven't done shit with this. It does not save relevant metadata from the messages. How do you know that? Nor can the authenticity of the message be verified using the log exporter. How do you know that? It converts a message into HTML, but there's no way to verify if the defendant has truly archived or exported all his messages. Once again, discovery process plays itself out, and then you'll find that out. Evidence he preserved it is still subject to tampering. He could have deleted messages and archived the chats. He could have, but guess what? You're speculating because you haven't done discovery. You have to do discovery, Pxie. You have to do discovery. You're saying this is a slog. This isn't a slog at all. This isn't that bad. This is just shittiness on both sides. This is just really fucking both attorney. Like it's like Boondock Saints. We have good shooting and shitty shooting. We have good lawyering and bad lawyering. Like, why are they doing this? Both sides, but Pxie's attorneys, like, are you guys afraid to ask for fucking documents? Like, let's go. The longer this drags on, I'm assuming they're afraid of discovery, which that tells you everything you need to know. But we'll see. The proper procedure for the defendant before mass deleting would have been to request from Discord a data package. You're now testifying. Okay. This package would have been verified by Discord and include all messages and images the defendant has sent. Due to the reckless deletion, even if the defendant requested a package down, the damage could be permanent. Once again, you don't know if it's permanent because you haven't done discovery. You have to do discovery. See, Destiny, if you're out there, I'm not afraid to call out both sides. So, pamper, tamper. Alternatively, the defendant could have used relativity or a trusted e-discovery platform to preserve evidence. Now, that is true. If he's engaging with law firms to do stuff, that could bite Destiny in the ass depending on how far back he engaged with a law firm. But relativity is an e-discovery platform. Although, if they use relativity, I'm sure these guys would have shit their pants. Pxie's team would have shit their pants There's nothing he could have done other than keeping it all up that would have made them happy. But you know what? If I'm on the other side too, I would make the arguments anyway. No matter what you do, I'll complain about it. And that's how you do it. That's how you do it. Yes, relativity costs fucking real money. But you know what? Destiny's got real money. He's got the kind of money it would cost. So, they're going to find out he's been botting. Oh, but I mean, this is just awful. This is just awful. This is just awful. The defendant done these actions which cast doubt to his intent and veracity. In short, a self-created export is not a substitute for original server stored messages. True. But how do you know? How do you know? Have you retrieved them? The plaintiff cannot independently verify the messages were captured, whether they were deleted, or whether timestamps or contents were altered. But the bigger thing is you can't do it right now because you haven't asked for discovery. Get fucking discovery and go forward. Then move for action. Move for action at that point. That's how you do this. Apparently, Destiny also deleted his Google Drive as well. He has admitted to the court it's a Google Drive where he puts pornographic material and shares the links with individuals. The individual who leaked the videos in the initial farm leaks confirmed they were from his Google Drive that he shared with Rose. Like I said, I still don't remember Solo Tiny Leaks doing that, but okay. Multiple women can confirm the Google Drive was active within the past year and videos were being sent through it. Plaintiff has a right to verify said Google Drive and ensure none of her materials were uploaded there. Now, that's true. If they're gone, then great. Adverse inference. Or maybe Google needs to be involved. Google might have to get deposed. Subpoenas out to Google. You got to do discovery, guys. You have to do discovery. They then go on to talk about the attorney saying that it's not correct. He stated Destiny was preserving evidence. When pressed repeatedly on how he was doing it, the answer was he preserved the JSON files, but no other specifics were provided. The declaration makes no reference to the JSON files or any other specifics. The statement of preservation does not mention the files, only HTML files, raising further suspicions. In short, based on the clear evidence, in order requiring to preserve all evidence in its format is warranted, and the defendant should have no objection to the same. Go through Rule 37. Request discovery. It's simple. Request discovery. Request production of documents. Find out that he doesn't have it. Motion to compel. Motion to compel the originals. I don't have them. Rule 37. Bam. It's a simple process. It is a simple process. So, user not available says Pxie is a BPD chick who sucked Destiny's dick in exchange for appearance on stream. Sure. Did that to a lot of those women. So. Let's see here. Who is Pxie? She is a streamer, political streamer in Destiny's, one of Destiny's orbit, one of Destiny's hoes that he started sharing nudes around with, the video around with. So, yeah. If you want to go back through, you can read. It evolves at the beginning. So, let's see here. Yeah, there's other products he can use to preserve stuff. But in reality, like, you're going to have to go through the process of discovery to figure out what he did or didn't do. This is all premature. So the orders about him removed the orders to direct third parties to comply. They want him to attest in a declaration he comply with the order while describing the steps he's taken to do so. I still think that's nonsense. I still think it's nonsense. You know, there's sites like Kiwi Farms. They won't comply with any request. Well, nobody's going to do it unless there's a court order. And the court's not going to order it. Since the defendant claims he's a victim of revenge porn, it is surprising he would object to this request and not join in a request for the court to remove the video. And that is a fair argument to make, but the court's still not going to order it. So the security bond is unwarranted. The request is beyond absurd. Yeah, well, I agree. You know, even more absurd that it would incur out-of-pocket costs and fees in connection with compliance. It costs no money to stop the non-consensual sharing of intimate images that are under his control, to preserve evidence, which he's already done, or send a letter to third parties. Okay, well, that costs money because your attorney has to do that. They request injunctive release should be granted. Anyways, they're arguing that they are entitled to their injunction. I don't think so. No way. No fucking chance in hell. Not at all. Not at all. So, I don't think you can. I don't think they will. They should. I'd argue they should not get the injunction. If they could prove it was still up, then yeah. But right now, no. He's not entitled. Pxie's not entitled to the injunction. But as I said, guys, I told you, there's a lot here. The bigger things. Apparently, was still doing it into 2023. And also into 2025, he still had a Google Drive up with this shit on it. Okay, well, oof. But notice, Pxie hasn't amended her complaint yet. She has to do that. And then even bigger, she has still not asked for a discovery. Pxie has not demanded Destiny produce documents. And if she still won't do it after a while, and J-Rock, I don't know if you're out there, you can agree with me, that's a big red flag that they're scared of discovery, which if they're scared of discovery, they filed this lawsuit hoping he would settle, and he didn't do that, and now they're fucked. And they're in a spot they don't want to be. But if that's the case, then just cut and run now. I still don't understand why they are not seeking discovery. If this drags on any longer and they don't do anything, that's a red flag to me why something has happened. So, and then last week his attorney filed a response to the declarations. Ultimately, they have that was their big response here. They did. I'm not going to get into that. There's more to it to address. But I'm going to leave that alone for now. That's kind of where we are. If his Discord link was open, Google link was open and available, what are the chances there are minors with access to that Discord? Yeah, but you guys are, no, you're getting too far into it. You're getting too far into that. So, we'll get some comments here from earlier. Joe Morris, Joe Schmo saying, did the retrial lawyers have any motions Bev could hear today instead of running testimony for the jury? Or does Karen need to attend those hearings too? Very likely Karen wants to be involved in all parts of her case. So I don't think they would feel, Karen probably said, I want to be there. And they can't waive her appearance if she won't consent to it. So probably not. Probably nothing to do. Fatty Caddy saying for $5, thank you, was saying, I'm sure it did take you a long time to get groceries. You must need to take the whole store home because you're Sean, because I'm fat. Yes, it took me the whole store. Syria is saying, I don't think Hassan Piker got detained. However, he did that secondary questioning. Well, when you fucking sit there and ball lick for Houthi terrorists, that tends to happen. I've had personal connections and associations, I'm sure, that have caught me enhanced scrutiny from the federal government. Life sucks like that sometimes, but it's the friends you make and the chances you take. Unforced Ego's been a member for 11 months. Thank you for the support. Saying happy birthday, Sean. My birthday's in August, chat. You don't look a day over 29, brother. And don't let anyone tell you different. Hope you and Mrs. 2.0 had fun celebrating. Well, 2.0's on a boat right now. Hi, Clyde. Well, Clyde was in here earlier. Thank you. Meme Copium says TR Rutro. Well, remember, there is a little more of this that came out that's important. Yes, Destiny has said a few things. Could you imagine how powerful a thin Sean would be? Yes. Yes, I've nerfed myself, chat. That's how you need to look at it. I've nerfed myself. Maybe I'll buff myself. Who knows? Oh, that sounds... Oh, God, saying buffing yourself sounds really bad. Oh, no. J-Rock says, how you don't file a motion to dismiss in lieu of the answer is Bush League. I agree. This has not been impressive everywhere. I'm not been impressed. Winter Soldier says the Cavaliers are eliminated. Suffolk, Cleveland. I'm not a Cavs fan, so oh well. Oh well, there's always the Indians. I'm sure they'll until they fuck up. And it's just a cycle of cope in Cleveland. The Cavs lose, and the Cavs are out. Oh well, let's go Indians, and then they're out. And you're like, oh well, let's go Browns, and then they're out. And then you're back to let's go Cavs, and then they're out. Let's go Indians, then they're out. Let's go Browns, then they're out. It never ends. It never ends, Chad. It never ends. It's like the song that doesn't end. Yes, the cope never ends. It goes on and on, my friend. And some people started coping, not knowing what it was, but they'll continue coping on forever just because. This is the cope that never ends. Will Destiny ever face criminal charges? No, and he shouldn't. I don't believe that there should be criminal charges against him. I think that's a misuse of the law. the civil system is more than adequate to address the issues here. No, there should not be. I don't think this should be criminally charged. Just like I don't think Aaron should have been criminally charged. I don't think criminal charges are warranted. That's not what we need the law for. So, Lucky saying, so the argument is Rose is the one that spread the video online. Well, no, Destiny's claiming somebody, either Rose intentionally did it, someone had access, or someone hacked Rose or got in. He's saying somebody else did it. It's not his fault. Joe Morris says, what happened to Attorney Tom? Attorney Tom's been working. Attorney Tom is out there hauling in personal injury cases like a fucking boss. I haven't seen him on LawTube or interview streams for years now. Yeah, he's got his own channel. He's still doing stuff. Attorney Tom is out there still making videos and stuff too, guys. So, and he's got like a whole like YouTube channel franchise, like Attorneys React. It was Kurt and Nate were doing that for a while for him. He had some stuff. He's got a lot of fingers and a lot of pies. So Attorney Tom's out there kicking ass. I think he's even had a kid in the meantime. So, no, Attorney Tom's doing okay as far as I can tell. JRX isn't becoming less impressed by the minute. Okay. Let's see here. Ryan Pipecorn is saying, are all these chicks just clout goblins? Because Destiny is not a good-looking man by any stretch of the imagination. I'm sure some of it's clout, but I mean, at the end of the day, he's got Riz. I'm sure he's got the Riz. Like, let's not deny it. You can't do everything that he's done and not have some basic charisma. You know, I'm sure he could sweet talk women. Like, you know, how do you think I landed 2.0? Not because of my looks, but you know, being kind and sweet talking women is not a bad. A lot of people have that trait. So, Swooping is lame says, how does it? Which I don't know why he runkles your picture, but okay. What does it feel like to be owned by a Ricada? It's like being owned by a gnat. I don't like. There. Does that make you feel better? So, speaking of clout, you got your little nibble of attention. You got your crumb. Visit Hedonism 2 for 2 Australian dollary doodles says, Sean, are you looking for an exciting honeymoon location? No, thank you. The only way I'd show up to fucking Hedo is if like a clear present danger, I've got the fucking laser designator and we're dropping fucking GBUs on the place. Like, variable, this is knife. Start the music. Target's lit. That's the only way I'm going anywhere near fucking Hedo. The only way I'm setting foot in Jamaica. I mean, even better if I could sit there somewhere with a joystick and just like Predator missile inbound and just and steer that fucker in. Like, then yes, I'll go to Hedo. Otherwise, no. But thank you. Thank you for your super chat. Oh. So. A free Jamaica tank top with every booking. Sexual predator inbound. Oh. Any idea what Josh has on a USB? I don't think he's got any. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I talked to him on the guys. I do talk to him, but like, I'm not in the war room. I'm not in the war room as much as people like to think. Like, I've heard some things. I haven't been able to confirm anything. You know, I mean, like, if I had to guess, maybe there's information that Nick ate Aaron's goo. So it's like, we got Crossfire now. Like, I don't know. Oh, thank you, Fierce Ranma. User not available says Destiny's wife constantly complained about him going to play Minecraft once they started having problems. Well, that's every marriage shit happens like that. So. Yeah, he was on the Travis Scott Astro World case. He's on a bunch of stuff. It's really easy to overlook Attorney Tom. Yeah, Attorney Tom's great. Attorney Tom is very good. You want to... The pandemic. We need a federal law against cuckolding. Funny. The Guardians is the worst rebranded name ever. Oh, trust me, it's fucking awful. It's fucking awful. But you know what? Like I said, man, it's. Hold on, I gotta move the style out of the way. Chief Wahoo, got him right back there. Right back here. He's my boy. Gotcha, boy. So, it is what it is, chat. It is what it is. It's the coping and the seething. You can't believe what you're seeing. Well, no, we do believe what we're seeing, but we always hope for next year. It's like counting crows in a long December, you know? Maybe this year will be better than the last. Except in this case, you also know deep down inside, it's never going to get better. And then, you know, we get those times where things happen, like when we had Johnny Manziel, that, you know, at first he was like Johnny fucking football. And you hear from the old timers, you know, like, this is how it felt when Cleveland did good at times. Cleveland had winning streaks. And every once in a while, you're like, this is how it must have felt in the 80s. And then it does, and then they crash and burn. You're like, nope, back to normal. So, J-Rock says the lawyers, Sean, not you yet. Funny. Yes, but Aaron ate his goo. I'm afraid you make a tank tops every booking. Well, they need to make me a hell of a tank top. I don't know, man. How many of those do they have there they could sew together? Nothing of value is lost if I J-damn hedonism. They find Nick there rummaging through the rubble, like picking up pieces and mementos. Like, I'll build a better Hedo. Oh, don't cross the streams. Well, they already did. Does Hedo 2 have merch that we could send you? No, and don't guys, don't waste your money, please. I'd rather you send your like donate your money to like Palestinian charities before you send it to Hedo. Okay? I'd rather you arm fucking Hamas before you send money to Hedo. That's how bad Hedo is, okay? I mean that too. I'd rather you not send your money to Hamas. But if you're torn between, like, I have to send this money in my pocket to Hedo, send it to Hamas. But be careful because you're then supporting terrorists. So be careful how you send it. The commanders are way better. Yeah, well. You saw one of Attorney Tom's ads on Long Crime? Cool. That's pretty neato. Did they pave Paradise and put up a parking lot? Well, I mean, I don't know if you consider the old Cleveland Municipal Stadium Paradise, but yes. But there is no boutique, there's no, boutique or swinging hot spot down by the stadium. So not necessarily. Here it is. I forget. The boutique is something in the swinging hot spot. I forget. Fuck. As a Bucks fan, thank you for Baker. You're welcome. User May says Hackamania is gayer than a male orgy. No. Yeah, I bet. Pepsi Man says, have you seen Cuck from Third World Aristocrat? No, I have not. Bella says, easy, Sean. Yes. Send Hamas to Hedo. Okay, well, that'd be funny, too. Brewberry says, repurpose the parasails into something nice. Well, there you go. Be a nice, airy shirt. Have you got the Mets Trash Panda shirts ready? No. I've got a couple of designs I've worked on over the weekend. I'll see what you guys like here coming up. I'll have them ready for tomorrow for the Carrie Reed stream. You guys can vote on them. So, pay-per-view, that's the Predators versus the Bucks. Okay. So with that said, guys, we are all caught up. As I said, the injunction should lose. It's garbage. They need to amend their complaint, and they need to ask for discovery. Destiny side of it, why are you not dismissing this shit right off the bat? I don't know why you guys fucked around this long. And then RS says potentially criminal become potentially Hassan on a single stream. No, because Hassan, every time something doesn't go right for Hassan, he yells at people to suck his dick, and I'm not telling you to do that yet. So I'm not like Hassan yet. I'm not eating my chicken tendies on stream either. So my mom doesn't make them for me. Hydrosphere says, why did Bev cancel court today? Sounds like Karen Reed was sick. So that's why. Bill is saying yet. What do you mean yet? I haven't told you guys to do it yet. I mean, it doesn't mean, well, I can't tell you I won't ever say it. Well, I eat sandwiches on stream. I try not to. I try not to. I don't think it's proper. So. Missouri Battleflag said I'm set for trial. There we go. All right. Oh, I need to respond to your email. I'm going to take a look at everything for you. Someone dumped a load in Karen's pooper. Oh, don't say that, Kimbo. Not nice. All right, chat. So with that being said, we got done. We have enough time here. We're going to go hang out on locals. Chat, potentiallycriminal.locals.com. You can join us. We're going to hang out probably for about an hour or so and just shoot the shit for a little while. I owe you guys a local stream for Monday. We didn't get to it yet. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that tonight. Wasn't sure how long we go, but we got done in time. So yeah, that is the lay of the ground roughly for the whole Destiny situation, and not looking good for Destiny. Looks like Pxie will make it through this, and Destiny's in trouble if any of that could be proven. Ooh, buddy. But there's also shit she hasn't done, and I'm very concerned about it. So we'll see. We'll see as it unfolds. We'll have more time to go, guys. But in the meantime, chat, I will see you guys over at locals. And in the meantime, you'll also local stream the previous Monday. We'll work it in somewhere. Well, guys, it's May. I owe you 13. It's May. I'll make them up. So anyways, chat, remember until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Although in this case, if you did it, you're liable. And don't chat, when you're stuck at this point, whatever Destiny has done, do the opposite of it, and you'll probably be okay. So that's my advice to you tonight. Whatever he does, do the exact opposite. Good night, chat. Take care. Oh, real quick, chat, before we go. The T-Man, our sponsor for tonight. Buy his tea, chat. Buy his tea. TheDragon'sTreasure.com. Promo code criminal gets you 10% off. Help the T-Man out. Show him some love. As Tupac said, hard times out there. Help T-Man out. Going through some things. Help him make those sales. As I told him already, that 10% I want him to keep. Let him get through whatever he's getting through there, chat. So please help him out. And I will talk to you guys later over on Locals. Have a nice night, chat. And otherwise, tomorrow evening, 6 p.m., Karen Reed. We'll see how day 14 goes for real. I'm sorry, day 15 goes for real. Take care, chat.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rick hated yelled at? Why, yes it was, he even knows he's fat. For all this fun and more, there's one place to go, here on Sean Martin's Potato